broadcasting. Soon the channel will be live. I said it in a slightly weird way for no apparent reason. I'm doing a character voice for nothing. And we're live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm Christiana Ellis. I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight: Jenny Meltzer as Zaylene.
Why is everybody always asleep all the time? It's weird.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn.
Our enemies will fall before us.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends.
Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock.
With an etheric quotient of 0.4, one should be able to actually affect
Chute Schubert as Sequential.
Hello, hello.
And Viv Schubert, Vivid Muse as Trina of Harlee.
Hey, y'all.
All right. Who would like to take a stab at that guy you were meeting under the bridge?
We tried to stab him, but he got away.
So, who would like to take a shot at recapping last episode?
Well, see, what had happened was Nedry was supposed to meet with these mysterious people that he thought were just going to give him all this information, but he went there and we all hid to try to protect him. And the guy was like, "Look, stop digging, kid." And Nedry was just like, "I want to know all the things." And he was like, "No." And then he ran away, but we tried to catch him. And we had him for a little bit, but then he escaped because I stupidly let him go. And then Nedry's chasing weird mercenaries through the street. It was a mess.
Yeah, that captures quite a bit of it. We also had a little bit of Sequential and Sorashana back at the castle, talking a little bit about the cipher that seems to have some similarities between Sequential's creator's cipher and the mysterious journal that you found in the Reclaimer's mansion. But the cipher's key still eludes you. But
It's a tough one.
yeah, but Sorashana also enlisted Sequential's help on a special project that she is hoping to complete for Yobert Relenth, your host. And I think also perhaps relevant that Carolina enlisted her friend, Glink, to help you out with that meeting.
An inebriated orc.
I have lots of friends.
Yeah. He had a very useful but surprisingly similar skill set, it would seem.
Most of my friends are bards.
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes sense.
You meet so many people when you just, go to music jam sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we finished the session with everyone returning to the castle to get some needed rest. You returned quite late, many of you. Nedry had attempted to stay up, only to be eventually persuaded by Carolina to go to bed. And everyone who is getting their long rest does so, although Nedry, you are awakened early in the morning.
42. Huh? What?
You find yourself coming awake and suddenly hear in your mind a voice from just a few hours earlier. I believe you fool rather than fiend, but no less dangerous for that. For the plain's sake, tell no one else, and hide that circlet.
I look around to see if I can spot someone within
You definitely hear it in your mind.
Yeah, Nedry knows a number of different spells that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
The most disturbing would be the one that requires eyesight to do so. Not seeing them, it's like, oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'm going to find out more. You can give me the information, or I guess I can take it.
You don't get any other response.
I like to think that I'm just sitting there staring at Nedry talking to himself.
Probably.
So, what does Zaylene do while the others sleep? Do you just sit in the room where they're sleeping and watch?
No, I do for a little while, but also I wander around and look at the castle and check things out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe talk to Sunya a little bit.
Yeah. You do have your own 4 hours worth of trance to do, but certainly it gives you time to do a bit more. What about sequential? You tend to have been taking up your sort of rest position, recharge in the laboratory still, or? Oh, we lost your audio.
Yes, exactly. No field doesn't feel the need currently for their own space, and there's adequate lighting for everything.
All right.
And so yeah, they do the same, in a safe space. So they do the same thing, essentially propping up the journal somewhere so that they can analyze. Can't move, but can at least analyze the text while in rest mode,
Yeah.
trying to decipher.
So, as everyone spends the night and probably into the morning, are you, I would assume, sleeping in? I mean, you're going to need to get your long rest, which is, I assume, what your plan is.
Yes, very sleepy.
All right. So I think, who do you suppose? Well, okay, Zaylene, not having actually been unconscious during all of that time, would have received a whisper from Sunya once it starts getting, light outside, to just say, when the others awake, Lord Yobert would like to meet with them, but it's not a hurry. It's not an urgent matter.
Is he awake right now?
Oh, yes. He is preparing for the day.
Do you think I could talk to him maybe while we're waiting?
I think so. I think that could be possible. Give me just a few minutes.
Okay.
If you would like to wait down in the Great Hall.
Okay.
So you, by this time, know your way around a little bit. You can descend 2 levels down to the level that you know to have this big open hall, and also has the map room and Lord Relent's chambers. But so you wait there, and before too long, Yobert Relent, this genial tiefling, appears at the door and beckons you in and says, "Come, sit."
Thank you.
And he invites you into a little sitting room where he takes a seat. And I think you have perception enough to notice that, like, it seems like even just these ordinary sort of movements do take a little extra effort for him.
Okay. Yeah.
But nonetheless, he is able to move around when he needs to. But he sits and says, "Welcome. I had hoped to speak with you some one-on-one, but I didn't want to presume. I figured I would let you settle in."
Yes. Thank you again for letting me stay in your home. I appreciate it. Otherwise, I would have had to stay at the academy. I wanted to talk to you about the others. They work for you?
It's a relatively recent arrangement, but we have a shared interest in exploration of so-called pocket dimensions and demiplanes and the unpredictable natures thereof, and in particular, the way some people can find themselves trapped in them. Our organization, as new as it is, has a mission of seeking out these strange places where they exist and determining if people need help.
It's very noble work.
Well, we're still finding our feet, obviously. But I consider one of our first missions, so to speak, seems to have rescued someone. I don't want to use that word if you don't feel it is appropriate.
I don't know. I don't know if they rescued me. I don't know where I was before I woke up to them. I don't remember. So I guess in a way they did. Maybe.
These things can be very complicated. I think it is the nature of magic to blur the lines of our common understanding of things. It's a mistake, an error, I think, for us to presume to understand everything or even anything about how things might work inside a pocket dimension. They can be quite unpredictable.
Yeah, I don't know much about them. Honestly, I feel foolish to confess I don't really know much about anything. I know that I can protect myself and others, and that's about it. I mean, everything is so very strange and uncertain.
You still have no memories of any family or friends from before whatever happened?
No, nothing.
Well, to be certain, if any memories do return, we would be happy to help you seek anyone out that you wish. And for the time being, you're welcome to stay.
Thank you.
I am very happy to have you here. I know that this all must be a lot. I can only imagine what it would feel like to walk through this city without any context.
It's a little overwhelming sometimes. It's very big.
It's true.
I like the castle though.
Well, I'm glad. And you hear Sunia's voice just say, "And the castle likes you."
I like Sunya.
Yes, I do too.
So you said that the others, like you gave them coin for what they did, and I have sort of been relying on the good graces of my newfound friends. I mean, Carolina bought me a lot of hats the other day, and I felt weird because I couldn't do anything for myself. But you mentioned that maybe I could work for you too.
Yes. Here's what I want to say, though, before we progress that line, is that I would, of course, be very pleased to have you join our little operation here, if that is your wish. But I would want to be careful, given your current condition, that I would not want you to enter into a binding contract that you might later find unsuitable should your memories return. Now, the contract that I have had everyone else sign does include the right to end those contracts at will, at any time. If there is a desire for them to leave, they are permitted to do so. And so I would want it to be clear that if you were to leave, you are at no point are you obligated to do anything that you would feel is too dangerous for you or that you object to on any other grounds. But given that, if you believe that you would be able to work as part of a team to this objective, I would absolutely be happy to see you compensated for that.
I mean, we did save the parade sort of together as a team, and we
Yes,
all seem to work well together.
Brennan told me a bit about that excitement. If you would like, I would be happy to draw up a contract and talk through any of the legal terminology in it.
I would like that.
I will do so.
Thank you.
So, you don't sleep, eh?
No, I guess not. I have to meditate.
Well, this just occurred to me. Are you aware that this is an elfish trait?
No,
Oh,
I thought that was just something that I had to do, that maybe that my mistress wanted me to, or that I was required to by her.
well, far be it from me to explain elves to an elf, but my understanding is that this is the case for all elves, is that they do not need to sleep as other races do, but rather they enter a sort of trance. Perhaps something that would be valuable to you is I could put you in contact with another elf here in the city who would be able to talk through these things with you.
Maybe that would be helpful.
I believe there are many other. So you are what at least I am used to. It would appear to be that you are a dark elf that is typically has originated from deep underground. But many dark elves live within the city now. I could certainly arrange for you to meet with one.
I would like that. I saw other elves that were different, but I haven't seen anyone like me yet.
Now, obviously, there's a wide range of different individuals of all different races. So, nothing is going to be true about every individual. But if you need to understand things about your trance and other things of that nature, I think that would be useful. I will make it happen.
Thank you.
Very well.
That would be very helpful.
So, I would expect to speak with everyone about the meeting that I heard about last night.
Yeah.
But is there anything well, I would be intrigued to hear your perception of it since we're here one-on-one. Don't feel like you need to tell me anything that you would feel uncomfortable saying.
I don't really understand why we went there. I guess Nedry said that this person knew something about Dinuthir or Denethir, something like that, and he was expecting to get information from them, but the person didn't and actually fled, and we tried to stop them, but failed. And I don't think Nedry got anything that he wanted from that meeting at all. Except, I don't know, you'd have to ask him. He was talking a lot, and sometimes it's hard to make sense of what he's saying because he's saying so much all at once.
Well, I'm glad at the least that you have all returned safely.
Yeah, Carolina came home really late. She wasn't with us.
All right. Well, perhaps I'll ask her about that. Sunya, is everyone else up yet? And I will. I think probably it's reasonable for us to say everyone else kind of gradually makes their way, slowly rolls out of bed. You know, maybe what we have is a late brunch up on the roof of the castle. So, Yobert and Brennan both join you up there. Sorashana came upstairs to get a platter of fruit and then took it back down to the workshop. He says, I understand there was a secret meeting under a bridge last night. Were you able to learn anything useful?
No. Well, sort of. I mean, not exactly. Not really what I wanted to know. It sort of, I don't know. It was almost as though instead of actually wanting to know more, he wanted to know less. And he wanted me to know less too. Which I can't imagine why I'd ever want to do that. But we didn't get his name. We did get the name of a couple of the people that he hired to be there. But we weren't able to keep up with that orc. His mind was pretty slippery too. But he was sort of afraid and angry. He just wanted to know more, or again, more of what we know, or rather that we did know. Or I wrote it all down.
And he brings out his book and starts flipping through the pages.
Oh, the handwriting got a little messy. Oh, and I sort of stopped at one point.
Well, I think it's important for us all to recognize that when we seek to uncover mysteries long hidden, we may from time to time encounter individuals who wish to keep them hidden.
Yeah, they're kind of dumb.
Well, there might be a number of reasons for that. We don't know, it sounds like. I mean, for all we know, it may simply be that he's an academic and wishes to prevent others from publishing results before he can.
No, it wasn't really a strongly worded criticism. More like an angry outburst, really. And then this morning, he just sort of yelled at me.
I think he raises an eyebrow, and that's probably would be the first anyone else knows about anything this morning.
Was he here?
Back to his notes.
No, he was sort of here.
And he points to his forehead.
I'm familiar with a few of the spells that can do that. I can't do them myself.
Oh, I thought you were just talking to yourself. Because you do that a lot, but you were talking to actually somebody?
Well, in this particular case, I was. At least I'm pretty sure. I mean, it might have been a holdover. Yeah, I was having a really weird dream, but you were singing in it, Carolina, which was also kind of weird.
That a lot.
No, not a lot. But
Well, maybe you're just remembering the last thing you heard before you went to bed.
no, he didn't say the same things. He was sort of at the same time both a little more calm and a little more angry. Last night he was just kind of desperate and afraid and angry. But this time he just seemed to be more. I don't know. I haven't been able to exactly put him into my notes in the right way. I've been trying to figure out if he should be categorized with Izeld and Alistair, because they were sort of protecting Denethir and the legacy. But they, well, I mean, Izeld did go kind of angrily towards the Chanticleer Academy, but I think that was more because she thought Alistair was there. Well, okay,
Well,
maybe
maybe you
not
should just
that.
have a separate category for general leads.
It's hard though, because I don't even have a name to list him under. I just have him listed as Orc.
Well, what did he say to you this morning?
Well, like I said, not that much, really. Basically telling me that I shouldn't look for this information. But I told him that if he didn't give me the information, then we would just take it. Seems kind of silly, really. We're going to find out. It's kind of exciting because anybody is willing to protect something that much, it must be really something to protect. But like I said, I wasn't sure if he's on the side of maybe the Chanticleer Academy or the Reclaimers, or more on the side of Izeld and Alistair. And I don't really have a third side, but I suppose that's where he sits sort of right now. I'd like to know more about him, what he knows. I mean, he must know something, or someone must have told him something. And that means that others must know too, which means there's more information to be found. I just don't know how to find them.
Well,
I
I
know
think
who
a
his
good place
friends
to
are.
start would be those two bodyguards that he had with him.
Yeah, Kurtha and Pascal. I know their names. But when I searched in Kurtha's mind, she just sort of indicated that she was hired without really any names or indication. Sort of, I guess, like you would hire a taxi.
But did she or Pascal ever see this orc? Like, did they ever meet with him face to face? Because if they did, maybe when you do that thing where you go inside people's brains, you could get a better picture of him.
No, that's sort of what I did last night. I was able to get a
Oh.
memory of him, and I wrote as much as I could down of him, but I'm not really good at body descriptions.
Maybe you
Well-
could have somebody draw it. Like you could do, like, you know, like you could describe it and they could draw the picture and you could say, no, like more like this or whatever. And then we would know what he looked like.
I can try. The memory itself is already dissolved. They only last for about 8 hours.
Oh.
Well, something else to maybe try is track down those two people. And you said last night that it was a lot of information, so I'm still a little sketchy on what exactly happened. But if you're looking for this guy, first track down the people that he hired and where he hired them. If it's someplace they're at a lot, I don't know. Maybe somebody referred this guy to these mercenaries, and you should figure out who the referrer was, and that might be the bridge between the two.
I'd also like to report them to whoever wants to build that school. I don't think they're very good at getting the signatures.
I'm not sure about that. What?
Well, they had a petition and everything, but I don't know.
I think that may have been deceit.
It had other names on it.
Well, anybody can sign a whole bunch of names.
Okay, that's probably fair. Wait,
I-
does that mean
so-
there's not going to be a school built there?
So okay, so back up. So when I came back last night, you like spewed a whole bunch of information at me, but maybe let's go slower and like so Lord Relenth can hear it as well. And I'd
We can
like
can also
to hear all
hand
the details.
we can hand wave that he's like, and then we told Lord Relenth what happened, rather than having to just say it all again.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything that Nedry would hold back on.
Okay. I think the thing that he suggests, once hearing that it seems clear that this individual is capable of magic on their own, and he says, it strikes me that someone so capable of magic and so secretive, I'm not sure you can count on that this orc appearance is actually what they look like. There are many magics that would allow
True.
that to disguise one's identity.
Yeah, I didn't think to sort of question his own self-image. I've got to remember
Yeah.
that next time.
Orcs generally can't swim that well.
Yes, there are magics, of course, that would allow anyone to swim that well, but certainly it would require something of that sort if it wasn't something they're native to. And it would seem that they have enough information to be able to contact you via sending, Nedry, but unfortunately, perhaps not in the other way.
I mean, I can try a sending stone, but I have a sense of him, but I'm not sure if it's familiar enough.
I think without a name, that would probably be difficult.
Yeah. I'm going to make a note of that, though. Next time, make sure to question their own self-image. And if it doesn't come the same as they look, then that's not them. That's
So-
really smart.
I can pursue with my own, connections to see if there's anything to be found in the lead about this school. If they are collecting petitions, if there is any actual such effort, then perhaps we can gain some information by finding out if there was any connection there. But without meaning to entirely change the subject, I do wish to bring up that Zinhorn, you know, of course, that you and I were able to put together this presentation for my brother,
Yes.
but we have yet to present it to him.
Aha.
So I don't know if you are ready for that soon, or who
Do you
else
really
would.
still think that's a good idea?
Yes.
I mean, a
Let's
place
see.
like that can't be safe. And there's so much more we can learn.
What makes you think that it couldn't be made safe?
Well, there was already a sort of near dimension or something placed over it. We don't know exactly how that happened. So it could happen again at any time.
Well, you could say the same about anywhere.
Well, if they had a dimension, I mean, that bar might not be safe. I'd still like to figure out if there's something to do with that midnight stone there.
Oh, that's
But
right.
this-
Did they find anything there?
My understanding is that they took all of that material to a storehouse, and that I was obstructed so far in pursuing any specific details about it because it was classified as hazardous magically, which is probably appropriate, and there was a bit of red tape. I imagine I can get through it, but I've not had any luck so far.
Well, you may want to contact that professor again. He might be able to help with that since that's his job, and you might say, well, I have a specialist, and that might get you in sooner.
I'm
I'm sure Tinthus would be
splendid
pleased.
idea. Well, I had already begun to make claims to have a team of experts with the infiltration of pocket dimensions and such, but so far that did not impress the person at the clerk's office. But few more escapades like at the parade yesterday, and I'm sure that the entire city will know about us.
Hopefully, we can manage to be at the right place at the right time to help more people.
Well, indeed. At this point, Sorashana bursts back up to the roof looking really excited, but then kind of stops short looking at everybody a little bit startled. Then she kind of sidles up to Sequential and like takes him by the hand and starts trying to like just pull him away from the table. Sorashana, is everything all right? She just says, I had a good idea, and I need to ask Sequential about it, and then maybe everyone else, but I need to make sure it's not insane first.
What sort of idea?
She starts getting like looking at the ground again, and then just kind of pulls on Sequential's hand again.
It's okay,
Yeah.
Sorashana. You don't have to answer that.
But I just
Yeah.
want to help.
Well,
wanna
I was
know.
actually curious, Nedry. Well, for all of you, Sequential, you're certainly welcome to leave. But I was curious what you guys thought of my friend. Was he helpful?
He was
I
very
mean,
big.
he seemed like kind of helpful. I didn't really get to talk to him or be around him very much because he was far away.
You're
He-
muted, Paul.
Oh,
He seemed
same for me. He was very far away on the other side of the canal, so I really didn't get to interact with him much, but he seemed to be very helpful and very large.
Yes, he is that.
he was
Did you-
also really drunk.
Well, he didn't seem that way when he came back last night. Are you sure he wasn't just faking? He's a very good actor.
Oh, maybe he was faking. He smelled really drunk though.
Yeah, he did.
He seemed quite pleasant. I'm happy to assist Sorashana.
Yeah. So yeah, she
I'll head
needs
out.
to back down. We can let this conversation up here continue if it's a bit more if it's going to, unless it's kind of. All right. Yeah. So we'll follow Sorashana and Sequential down. As soon as she's got you on the level down, she says, "Thank you, thank you. This is not a secret. This is not. I feel like I needed to say it out loud to someone else who might understand what I'm talking about. And you and I were looking at the items yesterday. I was
Yeah.
eating breakfast, and I ate some fruit, and then I wanted some more, and then I ate more, and then I didn't want any more because I was full. And that gave me an idea. You know that the bag of holding, the bag of holding the trapped one. We learned about it from studying it, that it takes whoever gets trapped in it and puts them in a like a cell, which would be bad, right? Like you could get stuck in
Yeah.
there. But what we learned looking at like the way that it interacts with the weave, we learned there's not an infinite number of those cells.
Mm-hmm.
It could get full.
Sure.
If there's only 4 cells, and we think you think you saw someone else get stuck in it, that means one of them is full at least. And so if we put more people in there, I think it would only put one person in each cell, and then if there was too too many more people, it wouldn't put them in a cell because there would be full.
Interesting. Could definitely assist in studying it, unless, we can't figure it out and then we've trapped people.
Well, that's why I wanted to just like talk through it, because my first thought was that I was just going to jump inside and see, but then I realized that was like when I tried to study the spot by myself. And if we're going to fill it up, we might need more than just me in there,
Yeah.
so that we fill up the cells.
Yeah. Maybe they could already be full, but yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Like it might be that just one more is enough, but we don't know that. And so I think to be safe, we would need to have, if we had five of us at least, then we would know 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at least one person not in the cell who could then maybe let the others out. And then we could find out what else is in there.
Yeah. Interesting. I think that's that's worthy for certain. I mean, I know I think it really seems like that's the trick, is just being able to have the time to study it,
It's
to
like
be able to learn those properties. I'm pretty sure we could learn those properties. It doesn't seem terribly complicated.
it's like what we were talking about, we talked about the other day, that it's different when someone constructs a demiplane like in a bag of holding, or versus like when there's a pocket dimension that naturally forms like in a wrinkle between the membranes of the veil and all that, because a constructed one, like it has to follow the rules. And if the rules say 4, can't do more than that.
Yeah.
And if someone's not in the cell, they could probably climb out.
Yeah. I think it's definitely worth pursuing.
Okay. Would you be able to explain it to the others?
Yeah.
I'll come with you, but if you could talk.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so she is willing to accompany you back upstairs, and we can. What's everyone else gotten up to in the meantime?
I would still be talking with Yobert about moving forward with the presentation. Nedry is probably trying to say at the same time that we shouldn't move forward. So there would be an intense debate going back and forth, with me saying that building needs to be put to use, and there's definitely ways we can make it safe. Everyone says we can make it safe. There's a lot of work to be done, and Nedry won't be locked out of it for at least a year or two until all of the work can be done. So I don't know what.
So I did have a thought about that. Like, if Nedry really wanted to study the place, maybe he could come on as a teacher every now and then if there was something specific he wanted to check out. And then he would have a reason to be in the academy, and it wouldn't matter that there were other people there.
I'm only an apprentice. I don't know what I could teach.
Well, you would still know plenty of things, like you know how to read and write and basic skills that children need to learn anyway. And you're all about, knowledge and stuff, right?
Well,
You're always saying how knowledge is meant to be shared.
I've never thought of myself teaching anyone before. I don't know if I'd be a very good teacher.
Well,
we
that's
don't
an
know these things
excellent.
until we try.
It's an excellent way to start, is to teach young people, because they've got a lot of time to unlearn anything that you might teach them that's not right.
Why
And
wouldn't
you've
I
got
teach
time
them
to
it's not
correct
right?
it too.
I love that logic. I got plenty of time to unlearn it.
Well, I wouldn't teach them anything that's not true. What would be the point of that?
Well, you may not know the full truth of something at the time that you teach it. So there's plenty of time to, go back and revisit those things later. I'm sure you could encapsulate a small amount of knowledge that you could teach to them every once in a while. You know, even if it was just something like a light cantrip that would, help them have more light in their room so that they could read and do their, schoolwork.
Or even some basic history.
Yeah, that too.
Well, history I know. I'm not familiar with the cantrip, but I do know a lot about history.
There you go.
I mean, did you realize that most of this particular spire was built during a wartime? I mean, not really a war. It was sort of declared to be a war, more of a political war, really.
You're hired.
Maybe.
I think Yobert does say at this point to say, well, I would not want to pursue a course of action if there was a serious lack of consensus. However, I certainly share Nedry's concern that we would want to ensure that the place is safe. But there is a factor because, remember, I have a legal obligation to inform my brother of the property. And once we do, it will be his decision what is to happen with the property. And if we don't have a presentation for him for what we suggest he do with the property, he will find something on his own. And I doubt leave it the way it is so that Nedry can continue to study it will be an acceptable solution for him.
Just, there's so much more I think I can learn from that place. And
You will
We
have
know.
plenty of
We
time.
know. We know, Nedry. We know. We hear
know.
you say that a lot. That doesn't make it possible for you to have everything that you want when you want it. I'm sorry.
We could stop time.
Well, and I don't know that it would be impossible for you to continue to study it while other things are happening.
That was why I made the suggestion about possibly teaching every now and then. It would give you a reason and an opportunity for being there. So in
And-
the hours, I mean, you can't teach them like for all hours of the day. You would
And-
have time.
And of course, Zinhorn is correct as well that the building requires substantial renovation before it would be occupied by children in any case.
do we know anything about, I mean, I think it's still technically owned by the Chanticleer family, but
No,
that family
it's
is no
No.
longer?
It,
No, it's
I've had a look
technically
at the
owned by
paperwork.
us.
The Chanticleer family was wiped out that night. Whatever it was happened there, it finished off the entirety of what remained of that family line.
Yeah, we've got the deed cleared.
I had a look at it myself, and it's unconventional to be sure, but it is not ambiguous. I think if it were not for my complicated situation, it would be something much more straightforward that we could do with it what we wished, but
Well, I did have some thoughts on speaking to your brother, but I think we can discuss that later.
to be sure. And then so maybe this is when like Sorashana and Sequential come back up. And she stands behind your shoulder.
Well, yeah, not to interrupt anything else, but I think Sorashana has a really sound idea related to the Isild's bag and how we
Oh.
may get around it. We know that we cannot directly work with it because it'll try to suck us into it. But she realized that we know that it only has capacity to store 4 individuals.
She holds up 4 fingers behind you.
And so if we were to fill those slots, then another individual could discern the properties and perhaps either reattune or unattune, or if there's a keyword, as we know happens with some of these things, could release everybody. And we know that there's somebody in there that could possibly have answers. Who knows what else it could have?
What's the effect of time in a place like that? Because there's somebody that's been in there for like 85 years. I would assume that they would be dead of starvation by now.
Well, they may have only been in there for about a week.
Sorashana
Timed it very
says
strange at that point.
the bag should be at the same pace as outside the bag. There isn't any sort of time dilation factors in the arcane inscriptions, but it's you said that in the academy there was. So if it was in there, it might still
Right.
have been a long time since it happened for that person, but time doesn't go any faster or slower in the bag than it does outside the bag.
Yeah, I guess our real concern is breathing.
Or
Oh no,
wanted
this
to
one,
get
this
out.
one,
Designed.
this one's designed to be entered in this way. I mean, you wouldn't put things in a cell if you wanted to just kill them.
Sure.
But
So-
how do we know that we would be able to get out?
So I had
There's
an
a
idea.
risk.
You said it's a cell, right? And cells have locks. I have something that can open a lock. And I can do it 3 times. Any lock.
Interesting.
That's
That sounds
really good.
promising.
The I don't know for sure, but I think that this bag is designed so that the person who is attuned to it can come and go. And I think that means that if you are not trapped in a cell, that there's got to be a way to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose I could volunteer to be one of the. You're saying you want us to go in the bag, right?
Well, we would need to find, up to 4 people to possibly be absorbed into it, and
You shouldn't be
I
the
feel
first
pretty
one.
certain that we can. All we need is the time to study that we can discern the properties.
Well, according to the look I had of it before, the cells are designed to not be escaped from. Magic wouldn't work on the inside of the cell, so you shouldn't be one of the people to get caught inside.
Yeah,
That would make sense.
The magic doesn't work inside the bag.
Well, maybe not inside
Oh,
a cell.
Only
There were
just
certain
inside
kinds
the
of magic which
the
were
cells.
prohibited by the way that was built, and it would make sense that if there's spells that could affect the locking mechanism, that would be one of the ones that was prohibited.
The
Certainly,
cell.
teleportation was.
Sorashana kind of looks at the floor. It says the cells are anti-magic. Other things are blocked, but I think only inside the cells. It's for storing dangerous creatures or individuals or items. You put them in anti-magic, but it's only the cells.
So would like a standard could you pick the lock with tools maybe?
She just gives a big shrug, big just long arm leggy.
I just know that once we have adequate time to be able to touch it and run some tests and do some spells, that we should be able to either discern a keyword or remove the current attunement.
Yeah,
then
I don't want to go.
We
in
should be
there.
able to take control over the bag.
I've never known an attunement that lasted at this kind of distance or time. It's rather intriguing. I'd like to know how they did that.
Sorashana says, "Yes, that's. I think we have. I think going inside is the only way, because if the attunement could be broken, why wouldn't it have been already? Usually attunement it would stop if you were just 100 feet away from something.
Maybe she's inside.
It's in the
Didn't-
deck of cards, but is the deck of cards 100 feet away?
Well, it might not
Does
be
that
her
count?
bag.
She says, I
That's-
tried taking the carts 100 feet away from the bag. I put the bag down in the mechanical room, and then I went up to the far corner. I tried that.
It might
Yeah,
be
we assume it's a
possible
Silt's
to-
bag, but we
Maybe
don't really
it's
know
not.
who's attuned to it. It could be anybody.
Maybe.
Well, we saw her use it in
No.
the
We saw her.
playbacks.
We saw her open up the bag in the direction of Onyxbane, but not actually
She-
well,
necessarily
so-
Drop the bag.
direct it.
She
Maybe I'm
was
attuned to the
carrying the
bag.
bag, and Tanglefoot picked it up and got sucked inside. Is what she saw.
Right.
Well,
Oh, that's right. He opened it and went to pull something out and then got sucked in. So it may not be hers. Okay.
Maybe I'm
So-
attuned to it. Have I been more than 100 feet away from it? Yeah, I have. Never mind.
Well, do you feel it? Normally, there's an association with an attunement.
I don't know what that would feel like.
We could get you to attune to 3 other things. That should force the connection to be broken. But if it's not yours to begin with, it wouldn't make any
Yeah, it
difference.
wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I think she'd know.
Sora Shauna
It is
says we could
possible.
test that because if she tried to reach inside and it gave her what she asked for, then we would know.
Would it suck me in though?
Well,
Yeah,
if,
if you're not
it's not
attuned,
you,
yeah.
then yeah.
I don't want to go in there.
You'd be volunteer number 1.
I don't want to go
Well-
inside the bed.
As
So-
an extreme,
so
it might be
here-
possible to completely disrupt the magic, but that would probably open up the contents into some other plane somewhere.
so I think maybe I think I would feel most comfortable if I could take some supplies, like food and water, basically with me. I would volunteer to go. If you guys can get me out.
Well, but
If
you
we're
couldn't
tied
be the first
together,
one.
if we're tied together, would it take me with you?
I mean, you
Magic
could
is
just go
weird.
and be volunteered, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would just be in a different cell.
They mean to try to get into the same cell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Or would it separate us? Do we even know?
No.
Yeah, Sora Shauna shrugs again. I think Yobert says, I think you have the right of it, Carolina, when you suggest that we would want, if we are to do this, to treat it like an expedition. Because I trust Sora Shauna that if she believes that there would be a way to solve this puzzle from inside, then I trust that could be done, but we wouldn't want to count on it happening immediately.
Instead of being a pocket protector, I could be a pouch protector.
There is also a question of what would happen if more than 4 or 5 people went in.
I think we should all just go in there.
Would
I
it be
really
a case of
want
like
to.
Well, Yobert says,
first in, first out?
That would be what I'd be worried
Ooh,
about.
that's a possibility too.
I think that it might be good. Well, you know what? I'll leave it there. My only thought was that perhaps we have someone who knows approximately how it works stay outside just in case you can't figure something out. I would hate to just be left holding the bag, so to speak.
That was super clever.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend it. You might be sucked in yourself.
Not if
Well,
it's full of people.
Yeah.
I think sure, Shauna might be most useful on the outside.
And maybe also Nedry or
Or
Sequential.
sequential. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sequential can pick locks, though. I watched him do
Yeah.
it. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
Yobert just says, I have something that I have been keeping in a box that I think could come in handy here. So, you all know that the typical. So, this is a brief moment where this is things that your characters would all know already, which is that most of the common sending stones you use are designed to work within the same plane. And then there's a chance that if you're trying to contact someone who's on a different plane, that it could fail. But he says, I have an enhanced set of stones that are linked only to each other, but are designed to function across planes. So perhaps, if nothing else, someone who's going in take one, and we hold on to the other out here, and it would allow some degree of communication. Assuming
That
that the
person
person...
isn't an anti-magic.
Assuming it's not
That's what I
blocked
was
in.
just going to say, is
Yeah.
assuming whoever is holding it is not trapped in an anti-magic cell.
But,
So
yeah,
what
it's a
if-
very worthy precaution to attempt.
What
Yeah.
if 5 of us went in, and then that would leave the last person outside of the cell if there's only 5 cells and one of them is already full?
4
then there
cells.
would potentially.
4 cells.
I thought there was 5 and there was already
4.
somebody in there.
No,
No, there's
4
4
total.
cells.
there's 4, and you think there's at
Oh.
least one that's full already. Or at the
Okay.
very, I mean, but you have no
Yeah,
idea.
and they could all
because-
be full.
yeah.
You know, the first person may just get
Yes.
bounced. We don't
What
know.
if we go in there and there's like 100 people in there?
Soroshana says, I think that if you're in there and you're not trapped in a cell, I think there must be a way to get out. It's
Why
designed.
don't I try
for
it
that.
first before we send in a bunch of us? Because if it kills, I don't want it to kill all of us.
I don't want it to kill you
Well, but
ever.
agreed. I don't think it will. I think Soroshana.
Soroshana
would
looks
warn us.
distressed that you say that, and she hugs you around the arm.
And I gently put an arm around her, just as lightly as she seems comfortable with.
She
But,
says,
you know.
I wouldn't mention it if I thought it was going to kill anyone.
I know you wouldn't, and we know that you would tell us any dangers. We trust you. That's
don't
why I
think the
feel
bag-
fine going in by myself, and I can take this thing that can possibly communicate, and we can have information.
But if
before
but if you're the
everybody goes
first
in.
one in, then it's more likely that you'll end up in a cell and it won't work.
Well, what if there's cells, maybe there's bars, and the last person to go in, if they don't get trapped, they can pass the stone through the bars to the last person.
Well, no, the magic wouldn't work on the inside of the cell.
No, I mean, they could pass the stone through the bars to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if it's a magical barrier or a physical construct, or could be anything.
Well,
We
we're
could
going to have
just
to
hire
try
a few
something.
people.
I'm up for an adventure. I've
What
already
if
said.
we get those mercenaries that were working for the orc guy? We'll send them in there.
Just hire somebody,
Yeah.
farm it out.
I worry about sending people into
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I wouldn't
kidding.
feel right about that.
it. No, I mean it's definitely worth considering, but we don't know what we'll find in there.
Look, I don't
I'm
wanna go
prepared
in
to
there,
send
but-
wave after wave of men into that bag until someone comes out.
There also should be somebody capable of putting up a fight if it is the case of first in, first out.
That might be the other thing. It
How
might
about we
release
just all
someone from the
go?
cage, but into the rest of the bag, as opposed to out here. And
How
if
about-
Onyx Bane is contained within that bag, I would imagine they're pretty powerful.
Yeah, they seem to be.
Wait, is Onyx Bane in the bag? I thought she was the one in the cards.
Thought it
no,
was
that's the
Tanglefoot.
cell.
It was
I
Tangle.
don't know. any of these
Tanglefoot.
people.
Tanglefoot in the bag.
Oh, right. 2 of them are in the cards. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
I
need a
think we
chart.
should all just go in.
Yeah, I'm leaning in that direction. I would like some time to change one of my spells, so I have create food and water, just in case we get stuck in there. We don't die of starvation and dehydration.
And I'll
An
have to
excellent
study
idea.
From Protective Versus, too, to make sure I'm ready. There's a few things
So-
that might help.
So we
Mechanic.
should take another nap? We just got up.
Well, no, I would say,
It'd be a long rest.
I think Gilbert will say, how about this? We take the day to prepare a list of whatever supplies you feel like you would like to take inside, and we can give ourselves a day and a night to consider anything we have not yet thought of, just in case something else were to occur to us before you embark on this. But I have to say, without wanting to push anything on you, it does seem rather exactly like the sort of thing that I had hoped we could accomplish as an organization. Now, this,
Nedry, something else. You were definitely going to want to hide that circlet if Tanglefoot comes out.
I was planning to buy a hat, so I could do that today.
I have a lot of hats. You could borrow one of mine.
If they fit.
I'd like 20. And I just got here.
It's not the number of the hats, it's the size.
They're very different. They're not all the same hat. You can try them on.
I'm just now imagining a gnome trying to wear a, elf-sized big floppy hat.
This one's a vest.
It looks good on you, though.
It's a body cone.
All right.
But
So-
if we're not going to do this till tomorrow, that would give me the opportunity to maybe drop by the I don't know, what was the name of the place? Hold on, I wrote it down.
Oh, the bar.
The Broken String. Just to see if maybe there are any other leads out there.
Yeah, the days certainly won't be wasted. When didn't we discuss like a library trip or
I don't know.
various different
Mm-hmm.
avenues to pursue?
Well, I would say that it is lunchtime already because you guys slept in. But what other things would you all get up to today with the idea that you're preparing perhaps for this an expedition inside the bag, Isild's bag of protection?
I
I'm
have
gonna
Go ahead.
get all my gear together and just make sure that I'm ready for the adventure.
Okay.
I have a promise to keep to Sunya that I have not yet.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Also, I was going to talk to Sinhorn a little bit, too.
Well, how about well, let's see. Trina, did you have anything you were wanting to do?
She doesn't really have any errands or anything to run, so probably just find some space and some nature and do some meditation stuff.
Yeah.
A little self-care.
Sure.
Been a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
A
Does
lot of talking.
does she just go to like the sort of the greenhouse room here in the castle, or does she maybe seek out like one of the nearby city parks?
Probably she would have spent a lot of time in the accessible nature spots in the house. So she would, if it looks like people are like scattering to do like
Errands.
personal tasks, she would, go to a nearby park.
Okay. Yeah, I think everyone are. So let's just briefly let's concoct a nearby park for Trina. What do you think this place is like? It would be
Well, huge trees. She would really want some huge trees. I don't know what
Okay.
time of year it is, but flowering trees,
sure.
Oh my God, it's the Shady
Really?
AG. But
Just in
outside.
time for
But
the cherry
outside.
blossoms.
Yeah, really, she follows the fragrances. She follows her nose. So I think that would land her towards flowers and fruits and things.
Nice. Yeah, I think probably it would there wouldn't be redwoods or anything
Right.
nearby, but yeah, I think that there's probably some place that you can get to where it's a nice little grove where there's a little bit of it's allowed to get a little bit denser, and you can get in there and wander among the trees. You don't necessarily have to stay on the path, although you will occasionally bump into other people looking to do the same thing and all a little bit
Yeah.
annoyed with you that you're wanting to find some spot to yourself, and so are they, and now you're just having to pretend that there isn't another person trying to meditate 30 feet away, but I think the
Yeah.
weather's nice though. There's a nice breeze, and you can smell blossoms on the flowers.
Delightful. In her mind, she's concocting a menu to go over with Brendan. We don't, which, just is nothing fancy, but she's thinking about food for the trip. She's got the endless stomach, so she's thinking she could pack quite a bit in there.
Sure. Well, perhaps we can also establish, like, later in the afternoon, maybe you and Brennan, like, go on a shopping trip for them.
Oh, yeah, that would be amazing.
All right, cool. What does Sequential get up to during this period?
I think the finding the library and doing research or library public records. So yeah, we were thinking of things related to Chanticleer, so trying to track down people who worked there since we had names. So I guess that would be more public records.
Okay. So, like, I guess I want to know a little bit more about what sort of information you're looking for.
Well, really, just trying to find leads to interview people. I think I don't.
Perhaps
what
just
else?
like records of like the investigation that followed that, like, what was publicly said about that whole incident after it happened, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess
look to see,
that's
like,
number one. Yeah, that probably would be a library. Yeah.
Okay. So you would be looking for, like, not so much like books as much as like sort of the equivalent of like newspaper and microfilm, like what,
Periodicals.
accounts of the time,
Yeah, I don't think there would be any way for us to get, investigation records
Sure.
without subterfuge.
Yeah. So bearing in mind that you probably are going and you're heading to like just the main sort of basic library, not any kind of a specialized area or anything like that. So on that basis, go ahead and give me an investigation check for your research.
Investigate. Which I get. Oh, I just click it online. Investigate. You get a +6 for a 19.
That's pretty good. What you find is that there are a handful of books that seem to be like that. Essentially, they seem to have been relatively early as books, were becoming more easy to like mass print, mass publish in large numbers. There do seem to be a couple that were written very quickly and are more focused on like lurid detail and so on, that were just like to try to captivate the the audience for like, ooh, mystery, a bunch of rich people and students were killed mysteriously, right? People were interested in that. But at least a couple of these books, flipping through them quickly, they're highly speculative and don't seem to really be based on anything other than the author's imagination. Some indications that they are themselves responding to what little information was public and speculating on the rest.
Sure.
You do find that there are a couple of, articles about, who were the people who like discovered what had happened, and so a few people that were, talk about how they had heard strange noises that night from outside the walls, but figured that wasn't actually the first time that they had heard strange noises coming from that place, and so who could have known? But then just no one came in and were out of it for a couple of days until a ranger returning from a mission went in and came out again quickly saying that there had been a horrible tragedy. So there are some accounts with that, but they're actually all pretty limited. Oops, we've lost someone here. we do we do we lose Starla? Yeah, so well, hopefully we get everyone back here in just a second. But so there are a few early indications of people who saw that, right? That there was this, there's a Tabaxi ranger that had been part of the Reclaimers, but had been out on a mission. And when they returned, they were the one that discovered it, what had happened inside, and let other people know. And the thought is that it was 2 days after whatever it was had happened. And that's what's publicly known, but all you can actually find are people who are accounting for having talked to that person. Not any, you can't seem to find anything that's like an interview or a direct conversation with that person. The ranger's name was the somewhat lurid Scratches in the Dirt. I guess that's maybe not lurid. That's not the right word, but there does, you find that there is almost a conspicuous lack of direct quotes or anything to that effect from this ranger. So what you have is a little bit of sloppy message control immediately upon discovery that other people were secondhand witness to, but Scratches in the Dirt himself seems to have not ever given any public statement on the matter. And so after that, all you have is like the official word, and the story given at the time to the public was that some sort of a magical accident had happened in the mansion. But that's, I think, what you're able to discover in this session.
Cool.
All right. Hopefully we can get our Starla back. But in any case, let's see. What about Nedry? What's Nedry getting up to?
I have a feeling that all of Zalin's hats are going to be too big. But he needs to ask Yobear for a little bit of, well, I guess we have a spending allowance.
Well,
But
he
wants
is,
to clear
yeah.
a few expenses.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's some spell components he's going to need.
And if I recall correctly, one of them was 200 gold of diamond dust
Okay.
and 100 gold worth of gold dust. Some of the
Haha.
spells.
Welcome back, Starla.
Sorry, we're having power flickers here
Okay.
for some reason.
That's all right. See
I
if
thought Glint was going to show up again. Or Glink, or whatever it was.
got everybody in there.
I messed up the screen. I'm sorry.
You ruined everything. All right. So, but that's all right. So, what are those? What spells are those ingredients for? I mean, he would ask.
One of them is. Oh man, let's check the spells. One of them is for Glyph of Warding.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is for Arcane Lock.
Okay. Okay. He thinks that those both seem like reasonable spells that could certainly be useful under various circumstances. He asks, so do you have specific plans for them, or are they just contingency?
Well, the glyph is more of a secondary concern. If we are potentially going to be encountering this orc again, I thought it might be good to protect a few things. So I've got more longer term plans. It's not exactly immediate. The other one I have more in mind in case we do encounter, well, any of these people that have been stuffed away. If the ranger gets free, I'd like to be able to make sure that I can lock them up again. I haven't really used these spells yet. They're more things I found in this book, tap protective verses.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not sure how often I might need them.
Well, the expenses are approved. I can give you a note to that effect that you can use to make those purchases.
Thanks.
I think they seem.
I may have other uses for them depending on the spells later on, but at least for now I know I need those ones.
So,
And then it's otherwise he's got a couple of letters to write and sort of general spell research, I think, for the day.
okay.
He's got to write a letter off to his sister. Asking her if she can devise a machine to help a dragonborn's wings strengthen. So basically an exercise machine for dragonborn wings. 'Cause they seem to be a little weak on that.
Wingmaster.
I thank you, sir. Yes, that would come in very handy.
Oh, he's not going to tell him about it. He's just writing the letter.
Well, this is me telling you.
Oh, okay.
This is metagaming.
Oh, and yeah, he's going to replace his chalk marks on the deck out front with paint, and then he's going to mark off 5-foot increments on the ground so that we can measure.
Make
progress
a
hopefully
stealth
in the
check.
future. Stealth.
Yeah.
Hey, I can roll on this thing. Let's see how badly this is. There's a 10.
Yeah, I think you're in the process of doing that when some cargo worker comes and sees and says, "Hey, what are you doing? You can't do that. Stop." Marking up the deck.
Just for measurements. Don't you have to measure things?
Well, what we need is to not have other people's measurements messing up our measurements.
Where are yours? I can use those as references.
You one of those weirdos that live in that castle.
I suppose that's technically correct.
He looks like he's doing some mental calculus. Any permanent marks you leave on this deck, I'm sending a bill to that castle. And then he just leaves.
Oh, I never thought about making them permanent.
What, you don't think paint counts as permanent?
Well, paint can be washed off or cleaned. But if I made etchings, they'd be much more accurate and would last a lot longer.
Well, the bill would be correspondingly higher. But,
Also, I don't have any spells that'll do that.
so
If
he
a
decides to not interfere, but indicates that he is not happy with you. Because bear in mind, where you're talking about is where they actually store cargo containers and stuff like that. So it's not like, yeah, it's not like private property. It's like part of the skyport.
His
Yeah.
his need for information overweighs his practicality in terms of what's actually needed. Or
Oh no, I
possible
get
to
it. I'm just saying that you encounter resistance is all.
do. Yeah. No.
okay.
I expected
Yeah.
that.
All right. So, what about Zaleen? You had some conversations you're gonna have?
Yeah, I was going to go and talk to Zinhorn more about being unconscious. It's weird.
So that during the middle of the fight when you got hurt and you went unconscious,
Right.
that's what you want to know about.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, does that happen?
That happens to everybody when they get hurt enough. And if no one's around to help them, they could die.
That die, like, they would just go away forever?
Yes. You would, I guess, go live with Rashama on the big mountain.
Hmm. That's scary.
I understand. We have a whole lifetime to wrap our heads around it, so it's kind of hard for you. Most people don't really think about it And usually especially in a city, there's lots of people around to help you if you're in trouble. And you've got us, you've got the pocket protectors to help you get back up if you get hurt. It's not like you die instantly and you're gone. There's time for us to get to you and to help you.
But could that happen? Could you die instantly and you'd just be gone?
I guess if you took enough damage, yeah.
Oh,
But, hopefully that won't happen.
that's what you do though, right? Like you do magic that's different than me and Nedry, right?
Yes, I channel the divine magic of Rashama, and I heal people.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I will always choose to help my friends get back up, even if it means that I get hurt. So as long as I'm around, you're not going to be dying and going away.
That's good to know. It's just very weird. I don't know, but since you guys found me, I've never been unconscious.
You don't sleep?
No.
Oh.
I think Zinhorn would probably know that elves don't sleep.
Oh, elves don't sleep. Okay.
That's an
yeah.
elf thing, yeah.
It's an elf thing. Okay.
I guess that's what Yobert said. I just thought that it was a me thing, but apparently elves don't sleep. I didn't know that.
So yeah, I mean, for us, for everyone who's not an elf, we go to sleep and we lose consciousness every night.
Is it the same?
No, you're still losing consciousness, but you're not losing consciousness because you're hurt.
But is it just like nothing when you sleep?
No,
or
well, sometimes you dream.
Huh. I'll have to look into that. I don't know much about it. It's all very weird to me and strange. I watch you guys when you sleep. Very creepily, I guess. That's what Trina said. But
I wasn't going to say anything, but it is kind of creepy to watch people while they sleep.
is it? Should I stop? I'm mostly just making sure you're all still breathing, but because I'm bored and sometimes lonely, but
do you know how to read? Books
don't
are
know.
an excellent way of getting through the night if you're not going to be sleeping. And I'm sure there's tons of books in this castle.
I'll have to see if I know how to read.
If not, I can recommend a good teacher for you from the orphanage who could help you get started.
I'll have to pick up a book and see if I know how to read it. I don't know. I've never.
I think there are certainly books in the workshop level is actually, started as a library, and so there's lots of books in there.
I'm going to look for a book that has large letters and might be easy to read, and pull that down and give it to Zaylene and see if she knows how to read.
I open it up and it's like Jane threw the ball. Dick said, "Jane, don't throw the ball." Oh, huh. Interesting. This looks like it's very basic, but wow.
So what are you interested in? Are you interested in history or magic or stories that will excite the imagination.
I don't know. I will just start reading until I find something that I like, I guess.
I'm going to look around for a history book and a romance book.
Nice. I imagine you can. Sunia helps you find selections of each. So
Here's a pile of books
Okay.
to get started with, and if you need help on different words, I'm always happy to help.
Thank you. I will stop watching you sleep then and read these books.
It's okay to check in on people, but to like stare at them all the time while they're sleeping. If I woke up and somebody was staring at me like that, I think I might freak out.
Okay. I will try not to do it. And if I sense that you're going to wake up and I'm doing it, I'll try to move away.
Or, just look away. Just pretend you weren't doing it. It's not like I'm going to know.
So you will just regularly wake up to Zaleen sitting there right across from you, but looking up at the ceiling. Or...
That's my new thing.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So what is Carolina getting up to? Heading to the Broken String?
Well, first I promised Sunya
What?
an explanation. So I'm actually going to head down to the very lowest level of the castle where none of us have been yet.
Oh, well, here, how about this? I will actually switch us to the map and I can show it on the map.
Sweet.
Let me, I think probably well, actually, hang on. Let me get tokens off of there and, okay, and then let me, oops, sorry, hang on. I think I don't have this actually set correctly. I didn't plan this as well as I had thought that I did. So give me just a moment. But basically, yeah, as you emerge onto, out of the bottom of this stairwell, you find that there's a little bit of a pathway here that you are... now, all of these gears you see are not currently in motion. You would imagine that they are, would be if you were in flight, but at present are at rest.
I think she would sort of wander along this outer passageway until she got like this way, up here, kind of wandering towards the middle. I see there's some boards here. Because this seems like the best place to talk to Sunya. Kind of like her heart, the heart of her, maybe? It's what makes logical sense to her anyway.
Sure, yeah. I will be having this conversation. I want to apologize to the people watching the stream that will be having a little bit of adjusting the screen in the meantime. But yes, Sunya is so something on your mind, Carolina?
Well, the other day when Father Wolfram was here, I asked if you would not listen to the conversation, and I promised to explain to you what was being spoken about. So I know you can't really turn off your ears, but you said you wouldn't tell anyone, and it appears that you haven't. I think there would have been a lot more questions up till now if you had. So first, thank you for that.
Of course.
And, but I told you that if you did that I would give you an explanation. And as much as I could, anyway. So, I can change the way I look. I've just always been able to do it. I was born that way. I don't ever do it to trick people. And I don't think I'm dangerous. And I hope you think so too. But I guess I mostly wanted to know if you had any questions or worries about that.
Well, my thoughts as a spirit are possibly different than other mortals would have. Because for me, the idea of changing your appearance is a little bit of a hard question to even think about. Because I, as my own manifestation, am focused on the physicality of the castle, and so I don't even really have my own appearance separate from that. I suppose if I was interested, I could try to manifest one, but I've never felt any desire to do so. But there are many other spirits that change their appearance frequently, and it seems perfectly natural and ordinary for them. But I know that that's not typically how mortal creatures are. And so I'm sure that this trait makes you somewhat unusual.
Does? I was wondering, because I don't know that you. We sort of had a conversation about how you. When Zaylene came to stay with us, how she tasted different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you actually like see people, like how they look, and if that would make a difference. Like, if I looked different, would you still know it was me? Or would I just be somebody else to you?
I feel like I would know. But do you want to try? And I could tell you.
You're sure we're alone? There's
Yes.
all right.
And don't,
If
if you don't want to, that's okay. But I
well,
can
just
only speculate otherwise.
I know. I don't want anyone else to stumble in here and think there's a stranger in the castle. So if anyone is coming close, let me know, and I can change back. I can do it pretty quickly. So with that, her appearance shifts, and she is no longer human. She actually becomes. Hold on, let me look. Because I want something about the same size. So, how her appearance shifts. She becomes a half elf, roughly 18-ish, female. A much swarthier, darker tone to her skin. Brown hair. So I had a technical question about this. As far as like hair goes, if I shift appearance, does the hairstyle change, or would I have to like actually manually fix my hair?
I think that I think you could probably. You know what? I think it's probably simplest to say that you can shift it into the position you want.
Okay, we'll just say that then. So yeah, she has a kind of a tawny brown hair, and it's in like two little buns on her head. I said, okay. How does this do I taste any different?
Well, I can tell that you have changed. I think that you're still you, though.
Well, I still feel like me. It's hard to explain. Every every face sort of has its own personality, I suppose, but my heart doesn't change, no matter what I look like. So maybe that's more what you see. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm sure that this is lonely for you sometimes, especially if you worry that people won't understand.
It. Yes. There's some danger in letting other people know, but I like that now I have at least two people who know the truth. Two beings, anyway. You and Father Wilfram both know this about me. So it's nice.
I kind of read between the lines. Glink was really you, wasn't he?
He was, yes. I'm not 100% certain how some of the others will react. So I'm still a little hesitant.
I can understand that that would be uncomfortable. I think that there is no reason that you should tell anyone before you feel ready. But I think it's also possible that if you never feel ready, if you never let yourself feel ready, you possibly miss out on letting new people get to know who you really are.
That was, I think, what Father Wilfram sort of was trying to say as well. And that's why I wanted to explain to you, not just because I promised, but it's sort of a practice run for me. telling you, explaining.
Happy to help. And as I mentioned the other day, I can't really turn off my listening. But what I told you is that I would keep your secret unless I thought it was a danger to others in the castle. But I don't think it is.
Thank you for trusting me. I really do truly appreciate it. Shift back into Carolina. Oh, that's kind of a relief. I was thinking that maybe I should tell Yobert. There's also the issue of my contract might not be 100% legally binding because I didn't put my real name on there because they only know Carolina and I think maybe that might be something I have to discuss with him because it might be important for I don't know, I had an idea, but
Well,
we'll see what he says.
I know Yobert pretty well. And I think that he will understand just like I did. And if he doesn't, I will swat him on the back of the head with a tray.
I appreciate your support. One other question. You haven't ever run across anyone with this same ability, have you?
Not a mortal like you. Only other spirits.
Well, if you do, please let me know. I'd
I
love to
will.
meet them.
Yes. Sorry, I stepped on a squeaky dog toy just right in that moment. Apologies. Yes, I of course will tell you. Sorry, that's that gear below you. That spot on the walkway just always squeaks when you step in that spot. It's a little embarrassing. But in any case, yeah. So I think you can probably, draw that too close. So, what about, did Zinhorn have anything else that he wanted to get to on that preparation day?
No, I just changed my spells and made sure I had a couple extra rations and made sure everything was in clean working order. Worked out with my wings.
All right. So,
I'm ready to go.
great.
Put me in, coach. Quite literally.
Yeah. So I think the the agreement seems to have been that Sorashana will stay behind on both the basis that, like, if someone who knows a little bit about what's going on should stay out just in case, but also that if there is any danger in there, she is less suited to fighting than all of you. So I think that makes sense, and Yobert, I think, encourages that line of thinking. But at the same time, is everyone else prepared to go in? We can imagine that you've
Yeah.
all had the day and then the evening to prepare, and it sounds like the plan is, after breakfast, you jump in the bag. Is that
Are
the
we
plan?
not
Anything
doing
else?
the broken string?
Oh,
Are we
sorry.
keeping that till later?
I'm sorry. I did not mean to skip that. We
It's
just kind
fine. I just like if we want to skip ahead, let's do something else. It's fine. I'm not.
of how about this? Let's say that you headed over there, and there wasn't basically it was closed that particular evening. Which
Okay.
you would know happens sometimes. It's just kind of like, that is the broken string is the sort of it's not really like a functional business as either a bar or a club as much as like a club, in that sometimes people will go there and a couple of people have the key and theoretically someone owns it and people drink beers there. But it's not like a functional like business open to the public. It's a little bit more secluded than that. But there doesn't seem to be anyone there when you stop in.
Maybe next time.
But I think, maybe while you were, you were headed there, now I feel bad for like skipping it if you wanted to
It's
do a
fine.
scene there.
It's fine. We don't have to do
yeah,
that.
We'll
right now.
we'll do that.
It's okay.
We there's stuff to come there, but that's fine. But in the meantime, everyone's planning this. So like so everyone's kind of gathered together in the workshop. You've got the bag.
Yeah. Since there is a possibility of first in, first out, as Carolina put it, we should maybe have somebody, I don't know, holding some sort of restraint ready in case somebody pops out. We don't know if they'll pop out in the bag or pop out here, but
Are there any places inside the castle itself that are sort of like prisons?
secure.
Their dungeon.
Brennan
Do you have a
kind of
ring?
says, it's like, I mean, we could put it like in a closet and I could stand on guard, but I think that's about it.
Thinking something a little more sturdy.
Well, I mean, sorry, this is not the sort of castle that they take prisoners in usually.
What if we just hold a net? And if something else pops out, Sorashana can just throw a net on it.
Or you could like ready the bread sprayer. Maybe can we trap them in bread? Does that work?
Does
Yeah, in
anyone have a
theory.
trap or a snare?
It hasn't worked yet. I mean, I have a number of spells, but I think I'm going in, so that's not gonna.
Oh,
Well, we should
can't do
decide
both.
the order.
I'm happy to go in first.
I do have a spell that can open locks. So, was thinking if I went in like fourth, if I just go into the bag and am not in a cell, I could get other people out that way.
Oh,
But if it kicks somebody out, then I'm going to be stuck in a cell. I'm not as useful in a fight anyway, so that does kind of make sense to me.
and moreover, the person coming out, or the one who should be trapped in there, we can get a lot of information from. At some point, we're going to have to take them out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Or-
happy to do things however you guys want. My only caveat is that I'd like to go in first. My whole thing is to take damage and protect you guys. And if Zenhorn gets in first and gets incapacitated, then we don't have a healer.
Oh,
On top of not
um,
having Zenhorn.
I
Oh.
can do some of that.
Wait,
Um,
no.
I stand by my point.
I can go in second after
No,
trying.
wait. There's something we have to remember.
Mm-hmm.
If the cells indeed are in some sort of anti-magic shell, it will affect the magic items you have as well. May even destroy them or at least invert them. So your mouth pouch would not be safe in there trying to.
Mm.
Well, you guys are going to be really sad because I packed some really yummy snacks for later.
Sorry.
Throw them up in a bag.
Sora Shana says, I think if you were in anti-magic, it would just prevent you from getting anything out or trying to put anything new in. It wouldn't explode or anything.
I don't know how powerful this one is.
I trust
You
Sorry.
might
I
wanna
trust Sorshana.
Well, you might just want to put some of the food in a regular bag anyway.
I already have put a whole bunch of food in my pack. I've got like
Also,
Food and water
the
in my pack.
bag does have an ability to sort things that are going into it, and it might just sort the magic items into its own jail.
Trina opens the bag and jumps in.
Interesting.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah. So technically, someone about to be sucked in has the opportunity to make a saving throw, but my guess is that you are not you're not making use of that.
I am not.
Okay. Well, guess what? You get to be the first on the map for this. Oh, hang on. This one. Where I just fixed
It
it.
looks
All right.
familiar.
Yeah.
That looks like the castle.
All right. So as I zoom in, technically speaking, I have all your tokens there, but only Trina is there actually at the moment. So let me just.
I feel like when I don't know what Trina would do, I just need to think, what would Alaric do?
Yeah. So from the
God.
from the perspective of everyone else, what you watch is Trina picks up the bag, reaches inside, and then almost as though there is a vacuum, is just like, and disappears inside the bag, and then it just drops to the floor. For you, Trina, you find yourself magically drawn through what feels like this roaring, fast tunnel. And then you find yourself passing through what feels almost like a bubble. Like you've just pressed through some sort of a membrane of something. And then the next thing, when your vision clears, you're standing on firm ground. You appear to be inside some kind of a cage. And you look around past through the bars of this cage, and you see what looks very much like you are in the bottom of an enormous bag. There are huge swirling magical items seeming to float in the air all around you, and across from you a little ways along the base of this floor, which looks almost like a gigantic map, you see a fancy table sitting on a fancy rug with 5 suits of armor around it, each laying a sword on the table. And you also notice that amongst these other cages, one of them seems to have an entirely decayed skeleton in it. The other has a very creepy gray creature. It's a monster of some kind. It has an almost frog-like head, except that it obviously has big, sharp teeth in it, and it has kind of fins along its back, and it's certainly like humanoid-sized, smaller than you, but the size of a human or an elf or so on. And it was kind of seated in the center of its own cage, but when you appear, it looks quite surprised, stands up, and on its cage, like it hands on its cage, you see big claws on the ends of its fingers, and it starts kind of croaking at you in a language that you're not able to understand. All right, quick question. So, back outside of the bag, Trina has just been sucked inside. How quickly do you all respond? What's the next step?
I said I'd go next.
All right.
I stick my
She's
hand in the
okay.
bag.
All right. So,
We have the stones from Yobert.
yeah, we'll say that he had them available. So you guys decide who is taking the one. Okay, Carolina will have the other half. Okay. So
Yeah,
Zinhorn goes
Who's
next.
for the other, Sarashana, or
Well, Carolina just held her hand. But I mean,
yeah,
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
Saoirse-
going fourth, so
yeah, Yobert is staying outside, so is Sorashana.
oh, your bear's there. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Zinhorn, you likewise find yourself sucked through this sort of magical tunnel and then pass through what feels kind of like some sort of a membrane, and then you're standing inside this this little cage in a similar circumstance to which I just described for Trina. But as you feel there, you, I think, immediately notice that it's almost it almost feels like the air is just really stale or something. You just sort of you sense the absence of something, and then realize, based on foreknowledge, that it is probably indeed you are in an anti-magic field in this cage.
Okay. I'm going to try and verify that by casting a cantrip of light. And I'm going to pick the bottom right suit of armor.
Okay. Well, light, you need to touch something anyway.
Oh,
to-
then
to
I'll
do it.
touch the bars of myself.
So you perform the hand motion, but you don't feel the engagement with the weave in the way you expect, and just nothing happens.
Okay.
Certainly, you hear this strange croaking sound, and you can kind of look over and see that in the cage next to you is Trina, but past her is this other strange creature that seems to be croaking unintelligibly.
You all right, Trina?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right.
I don't understand what this fella's saying, but
Yeah, I'm wondering if that was the thing that was pretending to be Tanglefoot.
So,
sorry.
so back out in the real world, is everyone else following in kind of rapid succession, or?
Nedry
Yeah.
will go over to Sequential just before they step in.
I'm not entirely sure what sort of manner of being you are, but I am concerned about your magical nature. I don't think it will affect you, but I would be concerned. Have you ever been unpowered before?
No.
Is there anything we should know in case that does happen?
I mean, no. I've received magical holy healing, and that works like any other being. So,
Right. really hope it doesn't hurt.
I seem to react like most organic people.
You're particularly special, and that can sometimes be a wonderful thing most of the time. But I just wanted to make sure that you're okay with this.
Yeah, I should probably, wait and go last. I don't know that I like gambling on an anti-magic field now that you mention it. It did not occur to me.
There are
Maybe
potentially
you should
tests we
stay
can do,
out
but not
here.
right now.
Maybe you should stay out here, Sequential. Don't want anything bad to happen to you. I barely know you.
Still need another
know that
person
I-
to go in.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to risk a cage, but I'd certainly go in still.
Maybe once Carolina goes in with the stone, she can kind of give some feedback before you go in.
Well,
if,
yeah.
if she goes in, it should
No, I'll
be
go ahead and
no
go
more
in. I mean,
cages.
Okay.
yeah, she needs to be outside of a cage, no matter what. I think it's going to be fine.
All right. So,
I've never had
hope so.
any issue.
Sequential goes ahead and goes in.
Yeah.
Okay. So you feel yourself, passing through this same tunnel, but then you find yourself appearing in the middle of what seems to be an enormous, pouch, except that, either it is enormous or you are now tiny. But you look around, you see all of these things, but you are not in a cage.
Oh ho, interesting.
Sure enough, you see Zinhorn and Trina are, though.
Yeah. Lost my mouse for a second.
And this frog-like creature is really excited now, but he's clearly making some kinds of frantic hand gestures to convey something, but perhaps it's, it might require an insight check to try to follow what he's trying to say.
We all get one.
Try that.
Yeah. It's. I'll warn you right now, though. He's kind of being very frantic and erratic, though, so it's not easy to discern.
I rolled a 24.
That's pretty good.
Got a 17.
Well, a 24 with a natural 20, I think, is. I think Sequential gets the prize on that one. So, what this creature is doing is he's croaking and making a gesture like referring to the noise coming out of his mouth, and looking around at you, and obviously seeing you all don't understand. He points to his head and then gestures to the cage, and you can that plus some other gestures, you come to the conclusion what he's trying to say is that he could speak telepathically, but not in the cage.
Okay.
And with that natural 20 insight, you believe that he is telling the truth about that.
So as soon as Sequential would have gone in, I would have been right on his heels just in
Okay.
case
Yeah.
something happened to him.
All right, yeah. So likewise, you pass through and you end up right there with Sequential, and both of you are there. You arrive.
Oh,
Now follow Carolina.
All right.
not in a cage.
Yeah, that part worked. That's encouraging.
So are you last through, Nedry?
I'm asking Yobert, can you hear them? You hear her,
Oh.
I guess.
Yeah, so I think Carolina, as you are kind of looking around and starts to say hello to everyone, you have your little your end of the sending stone kind of gets warm, and you hear in your mind, Carolina, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. We're fine, I think.
Oh.
And Yobert sort of nods to you, Nedry. She answered. She said they're fine. she thinks.
Oh, good. This should be fun.
And he steps in.
All right.
All right. You want to try unlocking one of the cells?
Well, first, I'm kind of curious. This guy is very animated over here.
It
I'm
seems like it
act-
wants to communicate, but it can't because of the anti-magic field.
But I can help.
But what if he's
But yeah, let's try to get our friends out
Yeah.
first, maybe.
I am
Okay.
going to cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay, yeah. So as you do that, you cast that spell. All of a sudden, this croaking, you suddenly realize that you can understand it, and it's essentially to the effect of, "This place is a fiendish torture. How can I possibly communicate to anyone with this? I can't, this is impossible. I need to." And then looking at you and just seeing a little bit of a look of recognition.
You know, puppy head tilt. Like,
You can understand me. You've cast Comprehend Languages or some other similar magic.
yes. I don't know if you can understand me. Can you understand me?
Yes.
Oh, good. That will make things much easier. Who are you?
I suppose you could call me Tanglefoot, still.
You don't hear that.
Yeah, well, so like what you hear is Carolina's side and him croaking in response.
Ah.
Trina
Huh.
is trying to pound her way out of the cell because she doesn't like being imprisoned. So she's going to do that.
All right.
Is there any kind of roll
I would
I can
say
do?
make an attack roll. Go
Okay.
ahead and like you can do your whole, like go 2 attack rolls.
So that's a 25 and a 25.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
Sorry.
All right.
I'm not seeing my scimitar. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
So that's a 3 and a 2.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I think you find that as you're attacking the bars with your scimitar, you suspect that these bars are not completely impervious to physical damage, but you're going to need to be able to hit them harder than that.
yeah.
Also, as you're doing that, this character who has referred to himself as Tanglefoot looks over and then turns to you, Carolina, and says, "You're going to want to disable the security before you do that."
Okay. I have some
Trina
questions
keeps
first.
pounding.
China, you might want to stop just for a minute. We'll get you out.
You can understand him.
Deep breaths.
I went out.
I know. I can understand him. And he said there's some kind of security system. So, with the sending stone, I will send back up top is that Tanglefoot is here and he is alive. At least he says it's Tanglefoot. He's Tanglefoot.
It's like, I think what you get back from Yobert is, well, if it is in fact the Tanglefoot that you spoke of from the academy, it seems to me that he's the sort you might want to keep in the cage if you can.
That was my thought too. Okay. All right.
He's croaking at you, saying, "Who are you talking to? Like, what is, what I am going to ask of you here is for you to disable the security and let me out of here. I don't know who you are, but I guarantee I can make it worth your while."
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a conversation first. So, if we disable the security
As soon as
system-
you say that, he immediately has. There's a moment of him just going, okay. Like he is reassessing the situation, but he's listening.
See, the thing is, we know why you're here.
No, you don't.
Oh, yes, we do.
Guaranteed that you don't.
Mm, we're gonna have to disagree on that one. Hey guys, should I tell him that how I know why he's here?
Yeah, we're only hearing your side.
Will it get us out?
Is that
just
actually
distracting.
tangled?
Does
For
he know
doing
how to-
whatever I'm for doing whatever gets Zenhorn and I out of this.
Yeah,
we are
does he
kind of
know
useful.
how to remove the security?
Nedry's examining the cage to try to figure that out.
Mac will trying his hand while she's in there.
If you're really Tanglefoot,
Tanglefoot. Oh. Huh.
that's what he says. But he's also said that there's no way that we could possibly know why he's here.
I wouldn't share with him any information that he does not already know.
Well, but also he has to be able to verify that he is who he says he is.
Does he recognize me?
Good question.
That is a good question.
Kind of pulled Zaleen forward a little bit. Do you know who this is?
He kind of cocks his head, sort of stands back. Maybe.
What is
Yeah, I'm
he?
gonna need more than that.
Well, I'm going to need out of this cage.
Well, seems we're gonna have a problem then. Sequential, what do you make of this table here with the guys, with the suits of armor here? Since there's a security system, I don't think we should touch anything.
Maybe-
Yeah.
We know.
Maybe try your spell to unlock one of the cages first and see what
Well,
happens. Because
but I don't-
if you disable the security system and it lets him out
Yeah.
too.
Does he know anything about it?
Well, that's the thing. He changed his tone real fast once I wanted him to provide proof of what his name was. It's gonna be a give and take with this guy.
Nedry starts ritually casting Detect Magic. It's going to take a while.
My concern here is that if I cast the spell and open the cage, that will trigger the security system. I don't want anybody to get hurt unnecessarily.
Yeah,
And he
if
kinda
you
says-
let somebody out, it might actually put somebody in.
Gosh, wouldn't it be convenient if you had someone who has had a long time to study this place? Gosh.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have anybody like that we can actually trust. You're gonna have to give me something more than that. I'm sorry.
You're going to have to get me out of this cage. I'm willing to bet that you're here for information. You know who I am? I know pieces of what you have to know in order to know that. So I'm thinking you want information from me, so I'd be a fool to give up anything when that's my only leverage, wouldn't I?
So I am going to walk a little closer to the cage here, not close enough that he could like reach through and like grab me.
He
Kind of
grins
like-
when you do that. When you see him kind of notice, like looking down, like when you sort of conscientiously choose how close to get, he looks down and kind of grins with a lot of like rows of shark teeth.
That's not what you looked like the last time I saw you.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to know why that is?
I don't need to answer that question. But I'm kind of wondering why you chose to look like that now.
that seems like something that I could answer for you if I was not in this cage.
What's he saying?
He's being difficult.
So,
What are we gonna do
Let's-
here? I don't trust him to just let him out.
yeah, don't let him out. I don't like him. And I don't even know what he's saying. I don't
But
like
he-
his teeth.
There's things in his head we need to know. He doesn't always look like that, by the way.
Couldn't
Don't remember.
Nedry do that thing where he goes inside people's brains and picks them apart?
Anti-magic field.
Um,
Nedry kind of nods, continuing to weave this spell.
Hmm.
Did Sequential, did you walk over and
Well-
look at the
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking because I'm not sure we should touch anything.
Well, so if you
Oh,
are, it's
no, I think
well,
touching it would be okay.
Well,
yeah,
what-
I'm gonna investigate.
okay. It is investigate what is it that you're trying to determine about them? Just if there's anything of note about them, or are you trying to determine specifically if you think that there's tell me what it is that you're wanting to know.
Yeah, so we know that a security system needs to be disabled. So I guess trying to see if they have some sort of interlocking, if they're somehow interrelated, if this is some kind, could be a trigger, a mechanism,
it looks
or
like
if they're
there's
just decorative.
it looks like there's pieces missing.
If you go ahead and make an investigation check.
Not as good as the last one.
Yeah.
8.
If there's any kind of mechanism about them, you're not able to discern it. As far as you can tell, these look like empty suits of armor posed around this table.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything special.
Can
It's very peculiar.
I look to see if it looks like there's pieces missing?
I think that there's no role for that. You can come to your own conclusion based on the appearance, though.
Okay, so if I made an investigation check, if I got up close enough,
Well, I
couldn't tell.
I think that there's nothing to see that could tell you either way, other
Okay.
than just kind of saying based on how that looks, I feel like I think there might be pieces missing, but there wouldn't be anything to see to confirm that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
I think
I will say that though.
Okay.
3 more suits of armor.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Can I kind of walk around a little bit and see if I can find anything?
Yeah, so you're just wanting to kind of make a general look around the the whole place and just get a sense of it, or you're looking for items, or
I'm kind of looking for items to see if I can find any of missing pieces that might fit in, or
okay. I guess make a perception check.
okay. Is it
And you're looking specific, because I'll your DC is going to be a little different if you're looking for just general information, or if you are specifically looking for, I think there should be something else that would fit into there, and if you want to look for those specifically.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
When I roll, it's going to be at disadvantage because of my eyeballs. But since it's not daylight, do I just take the first one?
Yeah, it's not daylight, so just the first roll.
So 16.
Yeah. As you're looking around, what you notice first of all is that there really doesn't seem to be much else that is your sized right now. Everything else seems to be much larger, and I think, you can maybe draw a conclusion about that, but you don't see anything else that looks at all similar to those suits of armor that you think would fit there. Doesn't seem to be like other suits of armor that are just like patrolling or something. You don't see
Okay.
anything.
So they may be the security system.
Yeah, maybe.
Is there anything else on this corpse beside just the skeleton?
You see that there's kind of like the, rotten remains and scraps of clothing, but nothing else.
So I was looking at the person claiming to be Tanglefoot. Do you know anything about this guy?
Yep.
Why are you like this? Like, you want out, clearly.
Yeah, I do.
But you're going to have to give me something that, proves that we can trust you, that you're not just going to try to kill us as soon as we let you out.
You're gonna have to give me something to convince me that you won't just listen to what I have to say and then keep me in here.
Are you telling us what he's saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna relay what he said.
I think that we're all pretty smart. And if we put our heads together, we can figure this out without his help, and then we can go from there. That's my thought. I think we should leave him in there.
I agree. He's managed to stay alive this long. We don't need anything from him.
Yeah. And I will kind of pull Carolina away a little bit and like huddle close with everybody else and try to say quietly so that he can't hear us, and just say, right now he thinks that we need him. If we can prove that we don't, maybe he'll be a little more cooperative. If he thinks that we're just going to leave him here.
Well, there's still things I need to know.
Well, we'll get
And
those
Nedry wouldn't be
things.
happy with that either, but
We'll get to those things, but I'm saying right now, maybe he'll be a little more cooperative if we act like we don't need anything from him. Like if we don't need his help, if we figure this out on our own, and he thinks maybe we're going to leave him here to rot forever, like that guy, maybe he'll be a little more cooperative.
that makes sense. Okay. So
So,
look back at the
Okay.
guy in the cage and say, well, I mean, if you're not going to be helpful, we'll figure it out. We're pretty smart. Nedry knows a lot of things and he has so many questions. So one of those questions is bound to be, the right one.
All right, have fun. I'll be waiting.
is he like watching us?
Yeah, he is definitely, he kind of sits cross-legged, but he is definitely watching everything you guys do.
Okay, that's bugging me. So I'm actually going to expend 3 charges of my Twilight skin
Okay.
and build a wall around his cage so he can't see out.
All right. Okay, so like these are like just 10-foot wall sections?
Yeah, 10-foot cubes, 10-foot cubes.
Okay. Well, I think anything that would be inside the cage is just doesn't appear.
Yeah,
But I think you can certainly make plenty of them around, around the space. And so he is not in darkness inside his cage, but you can certainly obscure his view, we'll say. And
Love it.
yeah, so you conjure that, and he kind of just says, "Gosh, what a neat trick! Wouldn't it be interesting for the rest of you to know where she learned it?"
You can't see me, but I'm rolling my eyes right now.
I bet you do that a lot. Does it solve problems for you?
More than you'd think.
does anybody know how to make silence?
I wish. So I'm gonna
All I'm
start.
getting is
I'm gonna start
clicking noises.
relaying with the sending stone, kind of what we're dealing with back up top. See if there's
Okay.
any guidance they could provide.
Yeah, maybe Sorshana knows something about.
I'll describe kind of the setup of the armor and the swords and the table. Look for any markings that are on it.
Yeah, so Yobert says, assuming that anything Tanglefoot says can be trusted, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the suits of armor and the swords are, in fact, as you say, the security system. And I know that Brennan and I, in our day, disabled many a security system simply by smashing it to bits, but that can be hazardous.
We'd need Trina for that.
You seem to forget that I'm rather strong.
But you're in a cage as well.
It's the size, I think. Sorry, no disrespect, Sinhorn.
But yeah, that's true.
Well,
I think Nedry's detect magic ritual would have finished probably by this time or so.
Imperio. Okay. What do I see?
I think what you notably see is that there is a lot of just background magic all over the place in this thing. But you notably do see that in all of these 4 cages, there is just like a hole in that magic. And in fact, you see like the construction around it where it's creating that pocket of no magic inside the cages. You notice that this thing that looks like a big sort of lantern over here is the same way. And that would presumably be another place that anti-magic would be inside. But you also have, this is just an incredibly complex magical item, and you're seeing magic all over the place. But are you looking at anything else in particular?
Yeah, looking at the cages to try to figure out if there's a magical trigger, and then try to figure out if the magical trigger sets off anything particular.
Okay.
The kinds of magic that are around as well.
You're right
And
back.
he'd walk around as well to take a look at the suits of armor and
Yeah.
whatever chess piece or chair that is.
You see a aura of transmutation around everything in that little patch, like the armor, the swords, the table, the rug, everything. Like that whole area there is just glowing with transmutation magic.
Including the suits of armor? Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Hang on, because I never have every time I try to guess what school of magic something is, I'm wrong. So I'm looking up a couple of things. Okay, and then the cages are certainly abjuration, and that you think that there are probably links. Yeah, you do. I feel like detect magic is not enough to give you precise workings of it, only just that there is magic involved. And so you certainly see magic involved in.
Can I take a closer look with Arcana then to try to get more precise?
Yeah. So go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Wow.
All right. Well, with a natural 1 of an 8, you think that while there might actually be some kind of a security function here, you don't think that it directly connects between the cages and the suits of armor.
Is there anything that resembles a door? Like, if I look up, do I see the opening of the bag?
You do, but it's hazy and distant. It looks like it is the opening of the bag is, 100 feet across, 500 feet up.
So nothing else that looks like door-like.
No.
What about the power level of the magic? I'm expecting the cages to be high power level, but what about the suits of armor and the table? Do they look like more powerful or equally powerful to what I can do?
They're more powerful than what you're currently capable of.
Well, I can't really see anything that makes any sense. It was all very carefully constructed. I know a number of spells that this is kind of a combination of. It's pretty much an amazing achievement, whoever built this thing. But I'm pretty sure that these probably become animated at some point. I'm not sure exactly what the trigger would be, but probably somewhere around the threshold of the cages.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I
so
don't think I can
I-
shove aside the magic, though.
I want to push back a little bit because I think that is an absolutely reasonable conclusion for Mark the player to make. But Nedry rolled an Arcana check and got a 1, and I said that he concluded that there was not a connection between the suits of armor and the cages.
Because he'd seen the magic on the outside of the cages.
Yeah.
It seemed to
So what I'm saying is that he has a mistaken impression that they're actually not connected, even though it
Oh,
seems
okay.
like you might have expected them to be.
They might be intelligent in some way. They might even be other creatures that sort of transform, or were transformed.
Mm-hmm.
I can try to see if they can understand language.
be. And that the closest one, he'll try to speak in his mind
Okay.
and see if he connects to a mind.
No.
Not
What about
exactly.
that kitten, Nedry?
I was gonna touch the chess piece.
Kitten?
Yeah, the kitten in the little cubby over there with the
It looks like a
chains around
giant-
it.
Giant amulet.
Kind of like, yeah. Is that magic?
So, as you touch this chess piece, Carolina, it does seem to sort of react to your touch, like it rises off the ground a little bit, almost like it's like coming to your hand, but like you can only like sort of raise it so far, and if you sort of pull your hand away, it stops kind of rising and it just drops back to where it was gently. But it's almost like it has no weight at all, and it's attracted to your hand in a gentle way.
The other thing to keep an eye out for is wherever things get sorted, those things floating around might actually be the things sorted, I suppose. I can't imagine how you get to them. There may be some command words, but they weren't revealed.
Well, I
when we
think
looked at it
normally you
before.
don't. Normally you would never be inside the bag, and they would just come to your hand, whatever you summoned, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna touch the kitty.
All right. So the kitty does appear to be made of some sort of a green crystal. You're not sure if it's actually like emerald or something like that, but it does seem to be inanimate as far as you can tell. But somewhat like the chess piece, the necklace does seem to react almost like it's trying to come to your hand, and it doesn't react as though it has any weight or inertia in that, but it's just so big that like it just sort of like lifts up like the comparison of about a foot off the ground, and then you're just like holding it sort of.
So we're pretty certain if we use magic to release them, that those things will react.
I feel
And
like that's
Probably anything
probably
will do it.
true.
and yeah, but so even physical, like if I was going to look to see if there's an actual lock or if there are actual doors or if the bars are all sealed.
Probably the only way
Or
to
the
really know
cages.
is to actually trigger it.
And Nedry will poke at this piece
In
of
which
armor
case,
here.
the magic would probably be the most efficient.
Okay, you just like poke it, just like
Yep.
gently with a finger.
Yep.
Nothing.
They don't react to direct stimulation, so that's good.
Are there doors on the cages or are they sealed?
No, there are doors. with like apparent locks. Like theoretically, those are pickable locks in principle.
The stuff around the outside edges of this, can we see that stuff, or like
Yeah.
the keys and stuff that's over
Yeah,
there?
stuff that looks like it's like huge and just like floating up in the sky. Like I want to just sort of zoom in, make sure everyone watching can see this whole awesome map. There's lots of things in here, and they're all just kind of floating around.
So the keys that are over here are like floating.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom.
Oh,
Okay.
well, no, like some of them are down kind of in a pile like this. Yeah, so
Okay.
like if you mean these things that are kind of past the keys a little bit, or
Past the cages.
like these, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those seem to be kind of like they're sort of like they're pinned under this like map thing that you're on, but I mean they're present.
I would like to walk over and see if I can move them the way Carolina did with the other things, like by trying to like
Okay.
reach out and touch them.
So, what are you thinking that you want to have happen when you do that? Are you just trying to move it, or are you like, do you have a conscious intent to do something else?
I want to move them to try to use them to unlock a cage. To unlock Trina's cage.
So as you are sort of holding your hand out to kind of like pull the cage, or like pull the key towards you with that kind of thought in mind, the key starts to move to your hand like those other things did for Carolina, but then it zips to your hand and shrinks to become a normal size key in your hand. But as soon as you do that, the suits of armor all say in hollow metallic voices, unauthorized, and we're rolling initiative.
Oh,
That did it.
Alright, guys.
why did I walk back over here?
Yay! Thank you, Jenny.
Hey, you're solving mysteries. I think what you do here, though, is now you did it.
I don't hear that. I just hear wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah.
Right.
You don't know what I did. You can't see.
Well, he heard the suits of armor.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I rolled that dice. I clicked something weird, but my first one counts better, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah.
I think I hit the actual dice on the D&D Beyond.
Okay. Yes. So, all right. Looks like we just need Zinhorn.
Mine's already in there. You changed my initiative already, Christiana?
I put it on there. I put the 17.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I went to go
Ooh,
change
look.
it. I was like, whoa.
Natural 20 plus 0 for Zinhorn. Good work. But your dex of plus 0 puts you still after the swords. All right. So, here's a question. This is a combat that could perhaps last a little while. Are you guys good to keep going, or shall we cliffhanger here?
I'm fine.
I'm good.
Good,
For a
but
little while.
I'm good for like another
Or
4
rest.
minutes or so.
If
Yeah.
we need to, we can certainly leave. In the round of combat, we don't need to have anyone past their stretching point. So, but in the meantime, the first thing that you all see happen here as you as this all begins is that the swords rise up off the table, just floating into the air, and they where did you move? Oh, there you are. Where were you when you reached for the keys, Ceiling?
I walked over to the edge of the map.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I
would've
would
been, like, over
put
here.
put your token there.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think let's put right there. And so the swords all zip over to attack you.
Ooh.
Okay.
Here, just for fun, I'll make them all point at you.
Okay.
Because that's fun.
I don't like it, but okay.
Yeah. All right. So basically, they all are swinging at you.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't. Okay, so you're getting 5 attacks coming your way. So,
Okay.
first one's a 10, so probably that's fine.
Miss. Yep.
21,
Oh yeah.
16,
Yep.
5,
No.
and 6. So that's just 2 hits. Not so bad.
Okay.
Okay. So that's 4 slashing damage for the first one and 2 for the second.
I'm actually going to use my Eldritch Invocation and hit the first one that hit me with 3 psychic damage and push it up 10
Okay.
feet away from me.
Okay, let me double check something here. It is pushed away, but you get the impression as your psychic sort of invocation reaches out. This thing has no mind to take psychic damage. It's immune to that, but it is pushed away.
Okay.
All right, the rest of you watch as she glares at one of the swords and it backs off. Okay, Zinhorn, what are you doing? You're stuck in a cage.
I am gonna try and remedy that situation and take out my mace. Is there like any kind of a door that I can beat on the lock mechanism?
Yeah, I mean you can take a shot at it, but as with Trina's attempt, there is not only a DC or like an AC to hit it effectively, but also a damage threshold, meaning you have to hit enough damage on a single hit for it to really do anything. But but it's theoretically damageable. It's just, it's not trivial.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
I got a 15.
Unfortunately, that with that hit, it's just like
Not enough.
The area that you need to hit is just in an awkward location for you to hit from within. You think it could be done, but that wasn't going to do it. All right, Zaleen, it's your turn.
I'm going to cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Okay. Here, I'll put a little. Let's see. Is there a good symbol for that? Here, a little snowflake on you.
And I get 5 temporary hit points.
Nice. All right. Is that your whole turn?
No. Can I do my bonus action too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna cast my Shadow Blade.
Okay. Well, so I think you can't do 2 full spells.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I can't. That's right. I forgot about
You
that.
can do a cantrip if it's a bonus action, though.
I don't think I have any bonus action cantrips.
Okay.
So, yep, that's it.
All right. Okay. That was Zaleen's turn. The next up, Nedry, you're kind of standing there watching that happen, and so you're not mechanically surprised, but I think in just a general sense, emotionally, you're probably surprised when that rug zips itself out from under the table and attempts to wrap itself around you.
Oh,
No.
I would rather not.
Yeah.
I'm having flashbacks.
That's a 20 to hit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so the rug wraps itself around you, and it is currently trying to smother you. So currently you are grappled by this rug, and you cannot. So basically, you're at risk of suffocating, which means we're into. I think the number of rounds that you can take that before you would pass out is 1 plus your con modifier. What's your con modifier?
Yep, that's 1.
Okay, so you can last 2 rounds before it would incapacitate you if it continues to hold you like this. Also, it's trying to crush you. So that's happening. Trina, still in cage.
Am I able to perceivably do anything attack-wise through the cage? It's anti-magic, but
Well,
is it enclosed?
I mean, there are bars. There are openings in the bars. So, like, what would you be trying to do?
Either throwing my javelin or whipping this. I think using a whip would be enough. It's got a 10-foot reach.
I think the javelin you could do a regular attack. The whip or like a scimitar would probably be at disadvantage because you're having to deal with the bars.
Okay. Let me throw a javelin at incredibly close to one outside the cage to try and, because I can't. It's not like I can throw a javelin.
Well, you also don't have to throw the javelin. You can spear the like
stab
you can
it.
stab
Let me
with
do
it.
that then.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to save Nedry, but I'm afraid I'll stab him. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw a javelin in that direction. Sorry,
Yeah.
Nedry.
Well, he's
I
also
mean, you're
out of
welcome.
reach. Yeah. But
So yeah, I'm going to whack at one of the swords with the javelin then.
okay.
Oh, and I'm going to enter into a rage because seeing my buddies get hurt just did that.
Yeah.
right there.
No, I
So,
get it.
Yeah.
All right. You feel the psychic presence of your friends back home surrounding you, or Psyche, to reassure you.
I do.
Unfortunately, though, a 13 is not enough for you to spear this flying sword that's flying around.
So
not
would
very
that
big.
be something that I could use as the 2-weapon fighting or my extra attack?
Well, your extra attack, yeah. You can't do
Okay.
the bonus action offhand attack with it, but you
Okay.
have your extra attack.
That one's even worse.
Yeah, unfortunately, these things are little and flying around. I mean, imagine, if you will, trying to stab a flying sword with a javelin. It seems hard.
I just failed at it. I don't
Yeah.
even have to imagine.
Yeah. All right, Nedry, you're up, and you're currently being smothered by a big rug. And so you are first, before anything else happens, going to take some crushing damage.
Okay.
You take 13 bludgeoning damage as this thing's trying to crush you.
Okay. That's not what I intended. What's the ground made of? Did we ever figure that out?
So in the rug is wrapped around you. It's not just pinning you to the ground.
Oh, so my feet are off the ground too.
Yeah, it's all the way around you, like you're rolled up in it. You are restrained and blinded and at risk of suffocating. You can try to break the grapple, but
I think
that's
all it's going to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Athletics or acrobatics.
What an odd choice to make. Oh wow, how do the odds work out? I think he's feeling bold. He's gonna try athletics,
Okay.
and he's slightly more emboldened than he expected,
All right.
because he's actually rolling it with advantage
Why is that?
because of the hat.
Oh, right. The circlet.
I
Nice.
can get it to show.
Um,
Where are we here?
So as it happens, a 13 is exactly what you needed. Yeah. So you are able to wriggle. You can choose any square adjacent to the rug to be where you come out if you like.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you manage to just squirm out of its grip as it tries to crush you, but you're able to. You're little, and you feel some benefit gained from the circlet. It's giving you a little extra oomph, and you're able to squirm out
bad.
from inside. All right, so that's your
Very
action
bad,
to
bad.
do that. But anything else?
Yeah. I think I'm assuming half movement to get there.
Well, yeah, you definitely come out prone.
So yeah, take his remaining. Didn't really do anything with
Yeah.
much for it, but yeah,
right.
that's it.
Okay. Next up is the table. The table rears up like a horse with its two of its the legs kind of go, and it is going to back up around here a little bit and come around and then charge at you, Sequential.
Oh,
And yeah, so let's see. It's making a ram attack on you. Hang on, sorry. Let me get my stats where I can read them. So you are
armor class is 17.
okay. Oh no, it rolls pretty low. You are able to duck and roll out of the way as it charges past, not hitting you. So yeah, you are able to evade its attack. Good job, Carolina. Your turn.
And she just kind of look at the scene unfolding. Well, in for a penny. And I'm going to cast Knock on Trina's cage because I know how frustrated she's got to be right now.
Sure. Do you happen to know if is not 60 feet. All right, good. Yeah. So as you cast that spell, there is a resounding sort of resonant booming sound, and the door to Trina's cage just and is wide open. So you are free to leave the cage on your turn, Trina.
Delightful.
Prime
You're
is back in the
welcome.
fight.
Yeah.
And then gonna kind of lean towards where this other cage is, say, "See, I told you we'd figure it out."
You don't get an answer that time. And now it's the suit of armor's turn. Two of them are right there by you, Sequential.
Yep.
So those guys are gonna attack you. They are each making 2 slam attacks against you. As they try to just like pound you with their metal fists. 17, 14, 6, and 12. So 17 you said is your AC?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so only one of those hits. That's not too bad. And that's going to be 7 bludgeoning damage.
Legend.
Yeah.
Right on.
One of these suits of armor is going to head over to, I think actually it's going to lumber in your direction, Carolina. What is their speed? 24. So it has to dash to get over there. So it's not able to attack on this turn, but it's definitely coming at you, Carolina, and it has close to melee range. In the meantime, one is going after Nedry, who escaped from the rug. And one of them is striding up to block the door of Trina's cage. So that one, I think, holds its attack against you, Trina. It's not attacking yet, but you think that it will if you try to leave the cage.
Okay.
But in the meantime, Nedry, you're getting 2 of these. 21 to hit and another 21 to hit.
Yep, those hit.
Yeah. Oops. 4 and 7. So, yeah, that's 4 and a 7 against you.
Okay.
One note too to just note is that I remember like some of the things that your circlet can do about like things approaching you and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just reminding you, in case there's anything unclear about that. But it's also new, so. Okay, so that is the suits of armor. Sequential, it's your turn.
All right. Sequential is going to not lay down, set down his Eldritch cannon, the little
Can't remember if I made a little.
gazer beam flamethrower
Yeah.
over here.
Okay. Hang on. I feel like. Where's that little token I was going to use for that? Here, I'll use this this little blue fireball thing. This thing. Where is it?
Cool.
Right there.
It has to be within 5 feet of me, so
Okay.
there. And as a bonus action, it will belch out fire in a 15-foot cone.
Uh-huh. Okay. You're trying to get the rug and
Which
2 of the
in
suits of
theory,
armor?
it's-
Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you, in order to not be in it yourself, you would need to, well, let's see.
Oh, if it originates there, it goes there then, huh?
I think, well, no, I think if you are currently in an area where you would take 1 opportunity attack, but if you take 1 step to the left, then you would be out of
Yeah.
that range.
Yeah,
So-
I'll definitely try that.
Yeah, all right, so you'll get 1 opportunity slam from the suit of armor for 12.
Glance off.
Okay, and so then we get, what, dexterity saving throws from the...
So exactly. And it's
From the armor and
dexterity
the rug.
14.
Okay. All right, so dexterity, not the armor's strong suit. They each have a +0, so 15 for one and natural 20 for the other.
Nice. They
so-
both save, take half damage.
All right, so that's
6 points of fire.
Okay, great. Hang on. Making sure they're not. Yep, they are not immune to fire damage.
Does it get the rug too?
It does. I'll
Oh, yeah.
do that in just a second.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, and then the rug gets a. Sorry, I have a lot of things with stats in this fight.
Yeah.
Okay, that has a +2. It gets a 19, so it saves also, but it does take 6 fire damage.
All
It
Right,
it is partly scorched, and if you felt like you could read the body language of an animated rug, you would think it looks offended. All right, we're back up at the
Good.
top of the initiative, and Zaleen, you've got the swords again. You are still holding that key, is my assumption. So tell me
Yep.
if that changes. All right, so the the one that you pushed away comes back. So you're getting all 5 attacks again.
Okay.
These are these. Okay. So 10, 12, 16.
That one hits.
13,
That one hits.
and 17. So that's
That one hits.
3 hits this time. All right.
Yep.
Okay. Those are each. That's for 3 damage, 9 damage, max on that one, and 6. So that's 18 total damage.
Okay, each one of them takes 15 points of
Nice.
cold damage. Each
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Of because damage.
Yeah, because I said so damage. Yeah.
Well, no, it's basically as they strike the cold layer of frost that has formed around you, the cold leaches onto them, and you see them become brittle with cold and frost. And those 3 that hit you actually look pretty damaged by that, but they're not destroyed.
Can I also use my my reaction to do the maddening hex again? That'll push one of them back.
Yeah, I mean you can do that. Although the last time it just flew right back up at you.
Yeah, but it's still
Yeah, I mean which one would you like to push away?
the one that hit me last time.
Okay,
If
well,
that-
so the
did that
top
one hit me
the top
again?
one. Well, I mean, I technically,
Sure.
yes, it did. All right, that
Yeah.
one. All right,
I wanted to be annoyed.
sure. Okay, so that's the swords. So Zinhorn, it's you're up again. Oh, are you muted? We don't hear you.
I'm going to switch over to my sling,
Okay.
and I'm going to try and hit one of those swords that are attacking Zaleen.
Okay. I think at disadvantage because you're. Well, I don't know. I guess I said. I feel like a javelin is different to try to throw through bars than a sling would be. Like, does that make sense?
All right, let me see.
Well,
what else.
I'm saying you can do it, but it would be an attack with disadvantage.
Um,
I'm sorry, I'm not making it easy to fight from inside a cage.
yeah, I know, but and that's going to be even harder than trying to break out by using my mace again. So I'm just going to go with the mace attack.
Right.
Sorry, Zaleen. 24.
So you definitely land a hit. So let's. How much damage?
9.
I think that you feel like another hit like that would get you out, but it's almost kind of.
That's yeah.
Yeah, you think another hit like that would get you out.
Okay.
All right. Zaleen, your turn.
I'm gonna Eldritch Blast those 3 jerks that hit me last time. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's see it. A 13 unfortunately misses.
Okay.
A 9 misses too. Yeah. Unfortunately, these are tiny little things that are keep
It
flying
all
around.
missed.
Yeah. Should you have 3 attacks or just?
Well, it's supposed to, like, I get that, and I can do 3 beams. Oh, so I only needed to do 1 roll, right?
Well, no. I thought Eldritch Blast is just 2 at this level for you. Am I wrong?
Oh, right, you're right. It is 2.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah. All
sorry.
right. That's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to double check. Because
I read it wrong.
people-
I was like 5th level, 3 beams, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh wait, no, that's 3 beams at 11.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to confirm. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, these swords are just like they're tiny and flying around like crazy. It's, they're hard to hit.
All right. For my bonus action, I am going to cast my Shadow Blade.
Okay. All right. So that do you get to make an attack?
I don't think so.
Shadow
No.
Blade's a weird one. I'm just wondering why it's why it's saying damage.
Probably because I cast it.
Also, one thing I actually want to I want to maybe give you an opportunity to think about. Is I think what kind of damage does Shadowblade does psychic damage?
Oh yeah, you're right.
I think you did learn from your earlier attempt that the swords at least were immune to psychic damage.
Yeah, you're right.
So I just want to give you the opportunity to potentially do something different if you want.
That's the only bonus action that I have. So, I mean, I will
feel free to cast it. It still looks cool.
Yeah, no, because like it just does psychic damage, so it's not going to do like any like melee damage.
And it uses up a spell slot.
Yeah, and I only have 2 spell
Yeah.
slots. So yeah, I will definitely take that back, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Okay, now it's the rug's turn again, and angry at being denied its prize, it is pursuing you, Nedry.
Bad rug, bad rug.
Let's see. That's a 14 to hit.
That hits.
All right. Okay, so once again, you are enveloped by the rug. It wraps itself around you, and you are currently being smothered. Okay, Trina. You are now free to move about the bag of holding. Well, except for the suit of armor that's going to hit you, but you know.
Right. Where's the opening on the cage?
Well, we'll say it's
facing
just to the left. Yeah.
So it's like facing where the armor dude is.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it was there to try to block you, but technically, we'll say that the opening is like directly to the left.
Well,
The
she's
west.
gonna come out swinging.
All right.
Um,
Well, so it's going to make its own opportunity, like reaction. It's held
ooh,
attack.
no. Then I want to.
I
I
mean,
get the
it
same
was
amount
waiting,
of damage if I hit it with my javelin as if I hit it with my
It
short
was
sword.
waiting to attack you if you tried to come out of the cage.
Right.
So, I mean, you might
All
as
right.
well just kind of suck it up. All right, so it got a 14 to hit, and then a crit.
So my armor class is 15.
Okay, so the 14 misses, but the crit won't.
Mm-hmm. I do have a resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Yeah, you sure do, because your fierceness.
I'm enraged.
Uh-huh.
I'm so angry.
She's fierce. All right. It would be doing 8 damage to you, but you only take 4 of that as it tries to punch you with its metal gauntlet. But now what are you
Oh.
going to do?
I'm gonna swing at it and hopefully hit it.
Yeah.
That's a 26 to hit.
Well, that will hit.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
For 7, 8, 9 with the
With your
bonus.
rage. Yeah.
9 points of damage.
Yeah. You slash at it. And just, it is literally a suit of plate armor, but, you're hitting it hard. So that hits. You do damage.
I would like to attack it again, please. Can I use the scimitar again? I haven't done an extra attack
Yeah.
to weapon fighting before.
Yeah, so basically when you have extra attack, that means you get to attack twice with your main weapon.
Oh, cool.
And then you can still bonus action second offhand attack.
So that's a 21 to hit.
Also hits.
For 6 points of damage.
All right, not quite as hard on that one, but it still hits it.
Mm-mm.
No. You make its helmet spin around.
That's what I'm here for those little giggles.
Okay, so do you have your offhand attack?
So what I would use just a regular one-handed weapon, then like my short sword or whatever.
Right. And so the offhand attack, you basically... Oh, wait, no, but you have the 2-weapon fighting, right?
I have two weapon fighting.
So yeah, so you just make that attack just like a normal attack, but with that weapon.
Okay, so that's a 10. to
Okay,
hit.
a 10 unfortunately doesn't
Yeah.
penetrate the literal suit of armor.
Sweet.
All right, but you certainly hacked into it, beat it up fair amount. Okay, that's trying to Nedry, you are currently getting crushed by a rug again.
The
So-
ancestral guardians are on that armor, though.
Okay, yeah, let me I'll make the little note of that in just a second. So first, Nedry, you're going to take 9 crushing damage, bludgeoning damage from the rug trying to smush you.
Okay.
And now you have your turn.
Okay. There we go. That's 1 failed death save.
Oh, are you unconscious?
Yep.
Okay, I so the save wouldn't have been, you wouldn't have needed to make the death save unless you were unconscious already. So if you just now go to 0, you don't have to make the death saving yet. You'll make it on your next turn.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but unconscious, though. All right. So yeah, I think trying to you notice that this rug has wrapped itself around Nedry, and he was squirming for a second, but then he stops.
I will announce that
Well,
to my
and-
fellows.
And Zinhorn is right there too, so he would
Yeah.
also certainly notice that. Okay. Hang on. You know what? Okay. No, we did this. This was Nedry's turn, and now it's the table's turn. Once again, sequential. It kind of moves away a little bit to kind of get around and do a charge, and it's charging at you. And it gets, let's see, and 11 to hit. Once again, kind of
Alright.
sails right by. It's not being very effective so far. Carolina, you're up. You've got a suit of armor in your face, but you've also got a healer in a cage.
How high off the ground is the top of this lantern?
I think that it would be like 15 feet proportionally, but you also know that this stuff is a little bit weird in here.
Because I was just wondering if it's possible to climb on top of it.
I think it would take your action to do that.
Right.
And I think even if it didn't, you would still sort of trigger the opportunity attack, trying to move away
Right.
from it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna have to. Yeah. So I'm going to cast knock on the other cage,
All right.
on Zinhorn's cage.
And Zinhorn, your cage creaks open.
And then those walls of Zalenes, those are solid, right?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. So I know it's going to provoke an opportunity attack, but I'm going to actually. Can I clamber? I'm trying to click on the wrong thing again. Can I clamber up and is it possible to stand on this stuff and move?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I would say it's difficult terrain climbing over it because it's so uneven, but you could definitely do that. It
Alright,
gets a
how far can I
13
get?
on its opportunity attack. So difficult terrain means it's half movement. So, you could move 3 squares, basically. You've moved 2, so you could...
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go one more.
All right? Yeah.
And then I would like to
I'd say you're about 10 feet off above the level of the map now, too.
okay. And then to Tanglefoot, I was like, well, if we die, we definitely can't let you out. But if you just tell us how to disable it, then there's a chance we might let you out. Either way, I mean, It's up to you.
Maybe you should let me out and I'll help you.
Nah. It's not how bargaining works.
That works in exactly the same direction. Back at you, by the way.
We'll be fine.
You're asking me to give you what you want without offering to give me what I want.
I'm giving you a chance.
Promise me you will let me out and swear on something you care about, and maybe I'll tell you something.
No.
Alright, well, yeah.
I've seen him. I don't like him.
Look, I'm, as the DM, I'm not judging you for this, but I'm also saying that from his perspective, he knows that you're not likely to let him out unless he, like, what he knows is all the leverage he has. If he gives up any of it, why would you not just keep that information and leave him in there? That's it. It is
still
literally
stuff
what
we
you
need to
are
know
intending,
besides
right?
that, but-
Yeah. So anyway, that was Carolina's turn. Now it's the suits of armor. I think
I forgot I was going to do inspiration, but
Okay.
it's fine.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I forgot.
You can do it.
Yeah, I was gonna give inspiration to Trina
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's like, hey there, ho there, watch your step, be peasant or lord, for none can stand against the swing of the mighty paladin sword. She has a 1d8 now.
Nice.
Many thanks, kind bard.
Yay. Bing. All right. Now it's the suit of armor. One of them is attacking sequential with its mighty fists and gets waiting for it to roll a natural 1 and an 8. It misses. The other one is going to try to attack your little arcane cannon thing. It has
Cool.
AC and hit points, right? Or does
Its
it?
armor class is 18.
Okay. So the other one is trying to hit that and it gets another natural 1. And then another 8. That is crazy.
Wow.
So 5, 8, 5, 8 were those 4 rolls. All right. Sometimes roll 20, I tell you. Okay. So that's those two. This one that was here is walking around and it is setting itself up here, Zinhorn, where it is going to ready an attack on you if you try to leave the cage.
Oh, I'm so trying.
Well, I get it. The other one that's by you, Trina, is attacking you. Gets a 19 and a 12.
19 hits.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay. I've got a lot of different calculations here. It does 4 bludgeoning damage, which is reduced to 2 for you. And Carolina, this one is attempting to follow you. But it has to, actually, I think it can get to there. Yeah, so it is going to attack you. It gets a 10 and a 21.
That one will hit.
Yeah, that one is going to do 8 bludgeoning damage as it punches you with a metal gauntlet. All right, Sequential, you're up.
I shall. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. I'm going to cast Levitate
Okay.
on the table,
Okay, yeah, so it makes the saving throw, right?
forcing it to make a Constitution saving throw versus 14.
Okay. Gets a 17.
Aw,
Yeah. It's a very heavy table.
it's a very heavy table. And so I'm going. That was an action. So Yeah, I think I'm gonna risk the opportunity attack to move.
Okay.
Whoops. That's a measurement, not a movement. So
All right. So that would be from one of the armors and one of the and from the table, right?
yeah,
All right. So from the table, that's a 24 to hit, but it's not charging. So it's it does 8 bludgeoning damage to you,
Mm,
and then the armor gets a 13 to hit.
okay, cool.
All right. When you saw that table move pretty fast, so you think that if you're not that far away from it, it's going to be able to charge you again.
Right. Oh, no, so with the bonus action, I will have the flamethrower flame throw at
Yeah.
these 3 things, 15-foot cones. So
Okay.
I think it would just be those 3,
Yeah. So
which was, I think it was a let me find it, 14.
table gets a 6.
Right? Yeah, 14.
Table gets a 6. One of the armors gets a 14. The other one gets a 2.
All right. 9
So-
points for the failures and
All
half
right.
as much.
So yeah, the table gets burned up. Some it's scorched. It's definitely partly burned. And then
And the fire ignites any flammable objects. If the table
yeah?
happens to be a flammable object that's not
know
being
what?
worn or carried.
you know what? I'm going to say that applies to the rug too.
Great.
I'm-
I'm in a flaming burrito.
Well, it's a big rug. I think it's part of it's smoldering enough to do damage to it, not necessarily to you. Actually, you know what? I take it back. The rug would have put itself out from its rolling around. I'm going to rule that. So it takes half if it saved? Half the fire damage?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. So, table is scorched and partly on fire. Which I'll
I think
indicate
I'll
with a
finish my
little
movement,
red
tucking
dot.
myself behind my flamethrower.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the end of that round of combat. How's everybody doing? Other than obviously
Aces.
Nedry's in a rough spot.
I'm starting to get tired.
Yeah. Perhaps we cliffhanger there.
Yeah, that's
with
fair.
the pocket protectors in a tough spot. You're in a tight spot.
We're in a tight spot.
Yeah.
Very tight.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're just ready for bed.
Yeah.
You're all warm and wrapped up in a blanket.
Swaddled.
Yeah.
So
letting
well,
sleep.
maybe our button here is just that, like, as you're all struggling with your own opponents at the moment, all of a sudden, Carolina, the sending stone buzzes and just checking in. Everything's still okay?
No,
Everything's fine. We're all fine here. How are you?
it's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine.
Just send that gif of the dog with the room on fire.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mental picture.
All right. Well, we're running a little late, so I think we'll just go ahead and draw it to a close without questions tonight. So, thank you everybody for listening and or watching. Whether you watch us live here on Twitch or the VOD on YouTube or the podcast, we love you all, and we'll be back next week for more adventure on so many levels.
So many levels.